I promise you I'll stay awake for 1 hour.
Hey, that's all I ask. That's all I ask. If you snore, I just go ahead and drop you off.
Exactly. You know what it is. Okay,
Okay, you have some skill.
Oh, see, that's what I do. I'm making me some tea. All right, then. I see you.
Is this role play? What the hell? What did I just play?
At last.
The king's back and the throne's mine. The future's here and it's my time. Straight shot, going for the head with it. Take his head off and say that I did it. Good riddance. Say hi to the bad guy, I'm back in business. If you took what's mine, I'm back to get it. There's nothing you can do, I'm back with vengeance. Now turn me loose. Now turn me loose.
What's going on? So just representing for the Grey Pill Podcast. Gonna do a reaction to Janelle Gordon debating with Destiny on Alex Playing with Fire. Of course, like always, have Ruby from I'll Be That News. You definitely check out on I'll Be That News. So we're gonna get to it. So I think Ashley's supposed to come through a little bit later. So I don't know, but she has the link. And that's pretty much it. And she gave the information to Janelle Gordon because I really don't like talking about people, but I am gonna attack the arguments. But a lot of the arguments look sus.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very sus. So just to give context, I'm gonna share this real quick and you can check it out because it was broken up in 3 parts. It was the original video from Valuetainment when Valuetainment and Fresh and Fit did a whole podcast with a lot of girls on there. And then from there, since Melina, which is Destiny's husband, she was on there, so she was actually one of the girls on the stage having a debate. I'll show that. So Melina, I guess, took that whole, just the bulk of the conversation and left it there on her channel. And then Destiny, I don't know, before or after, he did a reaction of it, of that time after, I think. So this is... Right, so this is Melina's channel, and excuse the train. It's that time. Shout out to you, Tyson Hook. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're new and you're just coming on in, definitely hit the subscribe button. Definitely hit the bell notification, and of course, hit the all bell notification because YouTube is funny, and definitely hit the thumbs up because that helps us out a lot. So I appreciate you. So this is on Melina's channel. This is Destiny's wife, and this is from the Valuetainment podcast where they have Fresh and Fit on there.
Mm-hmm.
And the women here give terrible advice. I feel like most out there because they get really pissed or.
Okay.
An original thought was always first.
Excuse the commercial. 3, 2.
Damn, I have YouTube Red. I forgot commercials exist. Sorry. I was like, what?
It's gonna
ask you this: how are we delusional?
All right, here we go.
I can tell thus far, you guys definitely don't hold back, so it's very refreshing.
Okay. BBC. All right. Who else?
Very direct.
Direct. Okay. Next.
Honest.
All right.
I'm gonna say socially, economically, politically correct, but also incorrect.
Okay, I'm gonna just say 2 words: informational and delusional.
That was true.
So
using your word against
are
you.
we the delusional ones? You
technically
think?
agree, actually, but
Do you think we're the delusional ones?
We all are.
Okay, everyone.
Well, let me ask you this: how are we delusional? Specifically.
Uh-oh.
Just like women have their delusional moments, so do you guys.
Okay, can you tell us how we're delusional specifically?
Which
I
part?
thought we were trying to like get on with the show.
Nah, okay.
You know what? We're gonna pause the show for 1 second.
Okay.
For you to answer this question. Hey, don't worry. I'm gonna go back as well, but this is just interesting.
Just
how
real
are we
quick,
delusional specifically?
how are Fresh and Fit delusional, if you would?
The facts aren't always checked. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, we don't.
If
We
it's-
don't
if
know what
it's
you're
a
saying.
fact,
Please tell us.
It's a
fact.
fact.
Just for FYI, this is actually the introduction part where they're going around and introducing all the ladies, and they ask them a basic question. So they're like at the 13th girl, and somehow they decided just to stay on this one, just to push a I guess a narrative. So they could just kept it going. Mara said, "Hey, I got notes. I come back later." Value Tim like, "No, let's get on her."
They do it a lot to this
Also-
one girl. I think it's
Yeah.
because she gave them a lot of pushback on their show also, but she never acted up in a way that they could shame her like they like to do to black women because they don't like black women. So I think they really want her to come out of character so they can be like, see, all these black women, look, they all act the same. And she just won't. And she just stays calm and just gives her answers, and you can't shake her. And I think they hate her for it. But like, I think they admire it, but they hate her for it. So I think
men are way more logical than women. So if anyone's delusional, it's going to lean more to the women.
That's why people are
They
men
got all
out
the
there,
answers.
Like, beating
All right, the one in the white dress, this is Janelle Gordon, and the one in the yellow dress on the right is Destiny's wife. And this is how the whole interaction started. She had some after the show. According to her, she had some disagreements and ended up on Alex Playing with Fire's channel.
You said that's not true.
No, because there's so many men out there beating the shit of each other
There's
because they can't even talk
That's
about their
not true.
feelings.
That's just called testosterone.
You don't think
and
so?
driving the poop
When you
point.
look at like abuse in relationships, like
Oh,
usually
let's not
there's
get
a lot
into
of
the
men,
stats on who's
or
abusing
men
who
that's
in
like
relationships.
fighting each other out there because they get really pissed or text.
Say that, is that because you're married to a woman?
I'm not married to a woman.
First jab and first insult. First jab and first insult. Is that because you're married to a woman? I thought they were supposed to have like a debate or a conversation. A woman. That's crazy.
Mhm.
I'm just saying. A
Holy.
lot of times women go with women because they go with women because they sort of hate men secretly. So that's what
You
they
think
do.
we hate men secretly?
Well, you were kind of just throwing them under the bus. These very nice gentlemen.
No, you were saying that men are not as emotional as women, which
They're
I
not.
completely. So why the fuck do we have so many men out there beating the shit out of each other? Like that's facts. That is true.
Rational thinking is like it's been scientific.
But they're taking it out physically and in anger. So of course they are emotional. Anger is an emotion.
I mean, if you want to use the metric
But
of
it is
violence,
emotional.
if
It
you want to
is
use the metric of
emotional.
violence, I mean, lesbian couples have the highest rates of domestic violence.
But that does
Women.
not
The thing
mean
is
that
that-
men are not being emotional by being the shit. of each
Yeah,
other. Like it does.
I'm not
happen.
arguing
We
that-
have to agree that men are emotional because they
No,
are
of course,
being
of course.
emotional.
Men have emotions just like women do. However, when a man is emotional, there's typically consequences to it because it ends in violence or some kind of issue. If men
So when women get emotional and violent, there's no repercussions for that?
I mean, what I think is wild though is that his statement was just that there's way more domestic violence in women on women relationships, which would suggest therefore that there's a lot of consequences to women's emotions, right? I mean, you think about the physical consequence of you having an emotion or a lot of physical violence that happens starts with someone having a feeling and the other person not liking that feeling, right? So I mean, I think that that's just wild there. The amount of consequences we have. I think it's not that men and women don't have consequences. It's just that we have different types of consequences depending on different things. Like it's so childish and immature to only be able to see the kinds of consequences your gender gets and not to be able to look at the consequences the other gender gets. Like it's so stupid.
I don't like. Yeah, I agree. I don't like the absolute talk. That bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
And don't control their emotions, you end up with school shooters, terrible people, criminal, etc. But when women, they're allowed to not have to control their emotions, and it's not the
So
same.
they start crying, and that's so much worse than
Women have way more
physical.
They have way more hormones, first of all, that allow them to be mother and have children that have more emotional connection. Men are just naturally more logical.
She's saying now that women have more hormones that make them emotional, but just earlier she was excusing men's emotions because of testosterone, which is a hormone.
Yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure that we all have the same hormones. We have different amounts of them, but like men produce estrogen, women produce testosterone. Like we all produce oxytocin for like nurturing and bonding and pair bonding.
If you're talking about violence, that's not a bad thing always. It's actually a good thing. I'd rather have a man that can beat the shit out of someone than a beta male who just sits there and hands me a credit
And that's
card.
why MLD couldn't defend himself. And that's why MLD couldn't defend
Yeah,
himself.
let's wrap up with the final
And
two
he was
girls.
walking out
Hold on,
crying like
listen. There's one rule. If the host is speaking, the women shut up. Sorry. So I want to get through this. We have a lot to do. There's going to be a lot of catting going on, and we'll let that happen throughout the show. Yeah, go.
And then you said harmful. Why harmful?
Because I don't think that you guys' reality is the real reality out of this Miami City and the podcast itself.
What specifically?
I don't think that the advice that you guys are giving is, or some advice is good. Some advice like getting your shit together, like getting a job, working hard, working out, those things are great. But when it comes to relationship advice, I don't agree.
Okay, what do you disagree with
I agree.
specifically?
What I disagree with specifically, I don't think that trying to build up men by very, very shallow things like getting money or having that car or having this sort of image.
What you just
and
said a
never
second
showing
ago
any
that building
emotion.
yourself up is good.
Yeah, it is for yourself, but not for just attracting other people out there. Because in that case, if let's say that you lose all those things, there's just no way that your partner in that case is going to stay with you. She should.
Yeah, not even that too. If I'm only focusing on building myself up just for the outcome of getting said girl, and then let's just say I lose or lack some of that, and then she leave, I'm blaming her.
Mm-hmm. What's I think terrible is that again these people fail to be able to make the connection. So you bring up men's feelings and school shooters and whatnot, right? The incels and whatnot. Okay, well, those are all a bunch of feelings, right? It's feeling inadequate, feeling insecure, feeling like you're less than, right? Lacking in confidence. These are all feelings. The insecurity and the self-hate and the self-doubt and all these feelings that you don't know how to cope with and you don't know how to make better. And so then they tell you to look outside of yourself to make it better. You get money, that's something outside of yourself, and that will get you the women, and that can all validate you. And so I think Melina is right on the money there, because you're not teaching these men, work on yourself and stuff, but the goal is not for you to get a certain amount of money or a certain amount of cars so you can get some women so you can finally feel validated, right? The goal is for you to try to accomplish things so that way you can feel like you're worth something, like you are able to obtain goals and stuff, so you can build your self-confidence, so you could feel, worthy, or feel like a man, feel like, you're proficient. And I think that those are a very big difference, right? Because like they need to be able to try to quell those feelings from internally, and no one is teaching them that, including these idiots who don't see the problem, but with saying, oh, just get all this money and get the cars and whatever, and then you'll be fine. Then you'll get the women. Then you can feel like a man. Because only 1% of the population's ever going to get any of that. So the rest of them are just going to keep hating themselves and then hating women for not choosing them and for having all these. It's ridiculous. I hate them. Sorry.
No, you're good. So, Sincere said, do you know the stats of women on women violence that are in relationship? I was looking at that right now, Sincere. And the only thing I'm coming up with so far, maybe Ruby can help me sift through most of this, because I put stats on women violence, but it came up as, let me back this up. It came up what percentage of domestic violence victims are females, gender-based violence statistics. Is that what we're asking? And then there's another one saying domestic violence statistics worldwide. And then the list goes on, like women abuse, domestic violence stats, domestic violence stats, data and studies, UN women, gender assessments. Clearly, that's not it.
No. It would be like a basic domestic violence stat, right? It just has to do with what type of domestic relationship we're talking about, and they're telling the truth. There is more violence in, if you're looking at the percentage wise, there's a higher percentage of like lesbian relationships specifically that have the domestic violence in them. So a higher percentage rate than any other. So like male versus male or male and female, there is a higher percentage. I can't remember where the statistics specifically came from, that because I've looked at it myself, but I mean it is a valid statement, right? Like, is it so staggeringly high or staggeringly
Yeah,
different
that's
that
the
it's
point I'm
like,
trying. Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to get at. So it's like, we'll say 10 out of 10, right? So if we're saying,
Mhm.
and I'm guessing it. So if Janelle Gordon is saying 7 out of 10, right? It, well, we'll split it 50-50. We'll say 60-30, 60, I mean, excuse me, 70-30, 60-40. Like, I feel like if it's like 2 notches higher, then it's like a haha got you moment. So I don't know. I feel like she have to bring up a stat for me to look at, because
Mhm.
I don't think she knows.
No, no, she doesn't know at all. And normally, like, so the research is not just like um based on one woman beating the hell out of another and whatever, right? There, a lot of times what we're talking about is people who are dysfunctional, and therefore they use their fists to fight in an argument, right? Both people, right? So we're not talking about one-way violence. We're often talking about two-way violence, and you have two women whose periods sync up, and then, you know, the fist fighting and whatever, because girls think about fighting their friends, and even though, you know, so a lot of that kind of gets complicated in there. And then when they're doing the research, they're counting anything: hair pulling, a push, a slap on the head. They're counting everything, including mutual combat, right? So it's not as clear cut as she was trying to make it sound. We don't have that information.
Yeah. All right, carrying on. Hey, Inky, I appreciate you. If you want the link, Inky, you're more than welcome. Just let me know.
Should be with you for you and your interest and
Melina,
your
if
hobbies and everything
you're
that
married
you
to
are.
Destiny, shout out to Destiny. If Destiny was broke and 300 pounds,
I hate that Adam conflates these. It is the most disingenuous thing ever. Broke and 300 pounds imply two totally different things, right? Broke, especially considering where I'm at now, implies like a whole level of lifestyle change, of being unsuccessful, of being demotivated, of all these things. They could, or it could just imply that I ran out of money. Being 300 pounds implies a dramatically different change in lifestyle and everything too. It's like, oh, you think you're with your guy because you love him? Well, what if you woke up and every single morning he was shitting himself in the bed and he like crawled around on the floor screeching and quit his job? Would you love him then? It's like, well, no, but he'd be like a fundamentally different person, right?
would you be in love with him?
I
and
would
married
be
with
in
him?
love with him. Yes.
Bull.
So fast.
Do you look at a gorgeous woman and immediately?
I think this is a problem I had with I'm trying to remember a conversation I had with somebody, and I told them pretty much the same thing. I said there's women out there that actually will be with their man for like 10 plus years if they either high earner, if they met him when they was, I guess you want to say broke, or they carried the relationship financially, meaning that maybe they paid the rent or the mortgage or the car note and the car insurance, and all he can afford was like the light bill, or he was doing stuff around the house that she couldn't do because she was more actively outside working. So again, it comes to a conversation. But now I also seen that, you know, there's women that be like, hey, I was doing it all and he was just sitting on the couch, but they would still be with her for 10 and 15 years. I've seen that too. That's literally the same equivalent to, you know, successful or non-successful marriages.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's true. And, you know, I think the thing is, what people don't realize, right, is that the ones who are like the pookies, right, who just sit on the couch, they give you some they're built-in babysitter as long as your kids don't need too much, and that's about it, right? That's still providing the woman with something, because she's getting a warm body, right? The comfort of the physical warm body and the fulfillment of, you know, her needs, without being any risk of being assaulted or controlled, or, you know, all those types of things. In essence, it puts her firmly in the driver's seat, so that way she doesn't have to be vulnerable at all, right? And so that's still providing something to someone, right? And that's why women will choose that. But then once they heal internally, they don't want to choose that anymore, because now they want a real relationship that, you know, between at least two equals at the very least. So yeah, It's interesting.
Fair enough.
Hmm?
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm not saying
Yes.
that if he lost his money now and something happened to him now, you'd stick by your man. Respect, right?
Yes, yeah,
I'm
because I
saying
love
if
him
you
for the
met
things that's not the
Destiny-
shallow things, and
I'm
that's
saying
what
if
I
you
think
met
you guys
Destiny-
should. I think you guys
Answer the
should try to
question. Here it
build
is.
up people in that way. Yeah.
If you met Destiny and he was 300 pounds and he had 0 subscribers on YouTube, he's like, I'm gonna be a gamer, you would have not given him a second chance.
Of course I would. Because there are things. I like him for his
You're so
opinions.
pretty,
I like
but
him for
you're
the way
capping,
he is,
beautiful.
his
Like-
humor.
Okay.
I like him for his intelligence. That's the things that I love him for.
So does intelligence pay the bills? Intelligence and his heart?
Because it's you, it's the
But
personality.
that's
it's
what
not your
pays the
fu-
bills.
It's not your money.
So if you're homeless and you have no car and no house,
Melina is not identifying here is that, and this is a huge problem that a lot of these retailers don't understand, is success is more often than not correlated with a whole bunch of other positive personality traits. And success can become a proxy for these things. So it's hard to imagine. If you take a person that's really successful and you say, well, what if they lost all of that success? It's hard to imagine that they would be the exact same type of person who wouldn't have that success, if that makes sense. Because a lot of these traits are so heavily correlated with each other. So Melina's trying to say like, oh, well, I'd probably love him even if he didn't have all these things. But the reality is what her answer should be is, well, he'd probably be like a fundamentally different type of person otherwise. Because Adam's example is like, well, what if he was just like a 300-pound loser that wanted to stand and play games all day and he wasn't successful on the internet? The problem there isn't that I'm not successful. It's that you've morphed me into a fundamentally different type of person than I would assume who Melina was originally attracted to.
nothing to feed the kids.
Exactly. And just to add context to that too, now because pretty much my attention is on Janelle Gordon, because with that being said, she has a boyfriend like half her age. She mentioned that he's a barber, and what was she doing the whole 20, 30 years of her life? She was a stay-at-home mom? Was she a housewife at the time? Like, what was she then moving up to now? Because right now, currently, she's platforming herself. She has I guess you want to say entrepreneur business. Mm-hmm. And the boyfriend, last time I checked, is a barber. Unless he's a barber for Usher, shout out to the super tweets. Like, that's the only way he's getting, like, making real bank money. And I'm not going to knock all barbers, because I know there's very successful barbers, whether there's the barbers that come in the barbershop and there's the barbers that actually own the business.
That's true. And also, let's all be clear that Melina has a publicly viewable track record that lets us know she's not lying, because she left her man who had millions of subscribers and so was a more successful YouTuber than Destiny by far to be with Destiny, even though it was a step down to be with Destiny. If we're talking about from the financial aspect, right? So she was with someone who was more successful, therefore could give her more clout and more whatever. And the person she was with also did not have a child, right? So then she left all of that to be with someone who was not yet successful. I mean, Destiny's pretty successful now, but he wasn't nearly as successful before him and Melina got married or got together even. And she literally left the man she was with to be with Destiny. So she stepped down, right? And got with a guy who's a single father. Like, I mean, no. So she literally, we know for sure that Melina's not lying. So the fact that this chick, who we know for sure is capping about her everything she thinks, right? Like, dude, she doesn't even do her research before she decides she wants to come gunning for people. It's so annoying and embarrassing.
She just puts on a white pretty dress and then just pander for the other side that she don't know nothing about.
I don't know if you have any.
Why do you want to go to like the most extreme example? Because I'm telling you that.
Not extreme.
Wait, are you going to argue for like what I'm attracted to? I'm not attracted to people that have cars and money. That's not what I'm attracted to. Because people like you are only attracted to those things. You would ditch your guy right away.
My guy
makes
makes
you
less
would.
than me.
But
Way less
why
than
in that
me.
case? Yeah, but why the fuck are you arguing and saying that I would leave it? Because if you're the same as me.
Women look for men that have resources that can be present.
But clearly you
But you just said your man makes less than you, so what resources he bring to the table?
Facts.
Bruh.
Oh, you just told me that you're not, right?
I'm an anomaly, darling.
Yo, so you're gonna tell me how
Okay, so she's not an anomaly neither. We got two anomalies on the table. We got two anomalies.
It's not even making any sense. Like, This is what I don't like about these red pill chicks. This is what I don't like about them at all, because they know what the truth is. This is not the truth. The truth is that a resource could be way more than just money or whatever, right? Emotional health and well-being, that is a resource. A man who can be your emotional rock is a resource, right? And women see it that way, and it might change depending on your age and stuff, but be honest. Like, she's not even, it's so annoying. She's not even being honest. And she's trying to shame Melina for being the same person as her? What?
You know what's the caveat? Since we're trying to use red pill logic, also the red pill logic is Janelle's age and the fact that she has a child. She hit the wall, so she's actually settled.
Mm-hmm.
She's settled, but Melina is like half her age, no child, very attractive, that youthful beauty. So technically, she's winning.
And she is winning because Melina's married and can still screw whoever she wants. So isn't that still winning? I mean, there are different trade-offs, right? But I mean,
technically, if we're using that logic, technically she is winning because she's under the protection and everything else under Destiny, and Destiny get to have whatever sexual appetites he wants. So honestly, the red pill should be just rooting for him for days.
You would think so, but the red pill would never root for a bisexual man, first of all.
That's true.
And they would never root for a man who believes in like equality in these things. So if he wants to sleep around, then she should also be able to sleep around. And they don't agree with that. That's what it is.
Oh, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
okay. I understand where you're coming from. You're saying like,
why did Myron let her skirt by on that, saying I'm the anomaly? She just torpedoed her entire argument, but because all three hosts are
supporting,
she's
supporting.
Yeah, I know, but she torpedoed her whole thing because she said I'm with a man that makes less than me. So she just because her whole thing was like women want people to have more resources, blah 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 blah. And then Melina asked her like, well, why are you with a guy that makes? She said, well, I'm the anomaly. She shouldn't be, because Melina earlier said that she'd still be with me. You could argue that Melina's an anomaly then, but they didn't say that. They said you're lying.
But they can't prove,
Sure, it's
the cars and the money, whatever. Cool. That might not be as attractive to you, but it's important, right, for the guy to have it.
Hey, what's going on, Inky?
Hi.
I like the picture. We're learning. I like the picture. We're learning.
It's a gorgeous picture.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, don't make fun of my picture. I was trying to find
a
picture that would fit in that little box.
No, we think the picture is gorgeous. Like legit gorgeous, for real. Not joking. Very gorgeous.
Thank you.
I take that trip to Cali. You just don't know.
Well, I'm married, so I wouldn't take that trip. But
that's
still
why I dressed
gorgeous.
you. I don't know the laws in Canada. They ain't gonna come after me.
No.
What's going on, Inky? How much did you hear so far?
So if I go back, we were talking about, some women get jealous, and then I missed the beginning part of that because I literally just hopped in.
Oh, fine. You right on time. So we're gonna mow this one down, and because the real conversation is just giving context of how this actually started. Moving on to, she had the woman in the white had a debate with the woman in the yellow, her husband, on another on the platform. So a lot of stuff she was saying for me was like all cap, and there was a lot of questions I had. But just a deep dive, she had a lot of stuff I know between you, Ruby, and the other guests I had on Amazon, like have the knowledge of this as women. And she just said some stuff. I'm like, this can't be true. This can't be true. But I can't, like, women can't speak for men. There's certain things I can't speak of women because I know women know this. So I was like, this is up y'all alley. And I was like, this is crazy. So, but I gave her the invitation just for the conversation if she was actually up to it, or she's more than welcome to react to it. So I'm fine with that too. But for me, since you're not a part of that space, I'm not either. But me and Ruby is 100% aware of it, along with Amazon. I feel like she's a grifter only because of a lot of her content going back 4 years coming up to now. It's like she just evolutionary YouTube changed over time. First it was this, then it was that, even down to the look, then the style. Like for me, everything just add up to like, okay, you just finding your I don't want to say a meal ticket, but your next place to put your footing in to get the next come up. So but that's where I'm gonna show all that. But that's just for me to have that conversation to show for the viewers. But everything else I would like for y'all brain to like, hey, is this right? Is this wrong? Is it me?
And is this another creator?
She considers herself one. She just had a channel taken down. Yeah, she considers herself a sexual Kama Sutra tantrist Buddhist.
Mhm.
And
So she has one of those kind of channels.
yes, but here's the crazy part. She has that channel, but it's not about that. Let's just say if I say my channel is only about barbershop, right, or cutting hair, but yet I'm doing like 5 out of 10 of my content. Every other content is about birds and the bees. I'm like, bro, I thought your channel was about barber. Like, no. So her channel is like Lily is not about that. And this is, do I even have it up here? Since I even okay, I'll stop and share this real quick since we're actually on that
Right.
conversation.
And yes, the woman in white is the grifter.
Okay.
Okay, so this is her channel. It was originally taken down, then she had like a 2.0. Let me make sure I blow this up so we can see. Okay, so this is her channel. Janelle Gordon. She says she's a how to live an outstanding orgasmic lifestyle. I don't know where's it should be about section where people talk about what they actually about. I don't see it here. Okay, I see it. Okay. She says description. I like to help you shake the shame in sex, cultivate intimacy, and live the hashtag orgasmic life in and out of your bedroom. Intimacy, tantra, sexpert, hosting, global luxury treatments, elite masterminds, plus transformative one-on-one coaching. New videos every week on Sunday, and then the Instagram and email. So, but on the videos, you have one about with pearly things. A chick that's 26-year-old that speaks about that teaches supposed to teach people about relationship, but she haven't had a relationship in 3 years, not married, no nothing. You have one with she's with Kevin Samuels, where he just passed away. What been like 2 years now? Where he's on the quote unquote manosphere side, where he don't consider himself that, but he talk about mostly about black men and women relationships, but overall relationship in general. And he'll have people come on to actually have the conversation for. And then on the regular content, which is threw me off. Again, her description says one thing, and then on the first one it says beware betas. I don't know what that supposed to mean in the tantra student. Then you have a second. Yeah.
Betas are like alphas and betas.
Yes. Beta. Then you have the second one, the male porn star. Again, I'm trying to understand what that have to do with the conversation of what her niche is. Then you got the fourth one, the beta male advice. Mike Rashid's another guy who actually talk about Mike Rashid pretty much just talk about anything in general. Like he's a guy that actually have like real deep conversations on certain things, but his lifestyle is actually poly. He has a main wife and he have another relationship that's a number 2 and a number 3. But he's very transparent about everything. If he introduces himself to another woman, he's very transparent about it. So it's like, take me as I am, which is fair.
Right. And he's being upfront about it. So
correct. Which I had another conversation with another gentleman, and his answer was when I said, "Hey, you have he claimed he was in a polyship." A week later, I said, "Hey, so how long you been talking to the 2 women?" In a minute. I said, "What's a minute?" A minute. So, if a minute could be like a year's. Minute. Okay. So
that's what I would think.
Yeah. Then another one celebrating the trainer, crybaby bodybuilding, modern women cry, a lot of manosphere relationship conversation, but nothing I'm not finding about tantra, anything, except for maybe that might be it. Sexpert. So I'm kind of lost on that. Then you have one picture with a dude in a thumbnail look like he biting her boob.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, have you guys spoke about so because I just got here. So first of all, she knows sex sells. So she's going to get a plethora of influx just from having that on there. And then, she puts those little tags up there, which is like baiting people to come in. I don't know exactly what those streams are about, but it's going to draw in a lot of people. So she basically, I guess it's kind of like no different than the true crime grifting. You know, she's baiting people in because she knows that's a topic that does sell.
I agree with that.
That's what I grabbed from just this small piece.
I agree with that, but I agree with that only because now I think it's like what's her name? Because it's not like what's her name? You don't know her. Her name is Brittany Simone, I think it is. Now what she does to her, she actually have like general conversations like how we have, right? She don't do no real talk. She'll come on and just have the conversation. But she promotes her Patreon. So she actually has OnlyFans. So separate from her channel, everybody traffic is drawn from the channel to there, the OnlyFans and Patreon. So that's pretty much her bread and butter. So that makes sense if this is what she's doing here. But as far as the channel goes, oranges to apples, like the one she got 2 weeks for here for like 107. The last stream I did is like almost like 100 itself. That's like less than an hour. So, but at the same time, she has like 14.6 thousand subscribers.
I wonder how long this has been up.
2014. So she's had her channel since 2014, and that you could tell people re-image themselves all the time. I think what happened is she was on the whole sex tantra thing, and then she ended up on Fresh and Fit, and she realized there's a massive market to basically be a woman her age and just to agree with everything that they're saying, right? And just like a hoe and agree with everything they say.
To agree with everything men say.
Well, not all men. That specific sector of men, right? The Myron Gaines and Fresh and Fit and all these men, the red pill, black pill kind of thing, right? Like,
okay,
women are all gold diggers, and when you're over 35, you're over the wall, and you're dried up, and you can't have children after a certain age, and just agree with everything and be like, yeah, I'm one of those women. I wish I hadn't wasted my whole life before now. I wish someone had told me when I was young, and I think she realized there's a really good grift in that, and it's going to be more profitable than what she was trying to do.
So she's doing good right here. Like, I mean, these are the old ones, but like you out here learn the 7 kinds of female orgasms, how to attract the man of your dreams, how to spice up your sex life with cosplay. There's a lot of videos like that. Well, channels, and they're making a killing. So I don't know if she wasn't very consistent with it. I don't know if she had like a real plan. Like right here, I mean, but these 3 years ago.
Are these more drawn into women or to men? Because if she changes the way she's wording it, she could draw more men in there. And if she does lives, then, or I don't know if they're just videos or if there's actual.
Yeah, these are just videos. Yeah, these are just videos. 9 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes. How to learn how to improve your orgasm during the intercourse.
How to lick a woman's pee.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, it's very clear. All of her really good performing ones are things that she marketed towards men. So she's always been trying to sell to men. It's just, I think what happened is YouTube probably started cracking down. So she started getting demonetized and shut down, and community guideline strikes and stuff like that, because they started cracking down more. So then she realized, well, if I want to still make money this way, I got to get my grift just slightly differently. Oh, right. I know. I'll just lie to men. There you go.
And give them a false sense of security.
Well, that's like the hooker.
Yep. Doesn't she look like one?
The phone sex operator. Well, actually, the $299 one.
She looks like a cheap one, and which is amazing, because if you look at Melina, someone who is married but admittedly sleeps around, whatever, right? And she looks like a classy lady who, maybe she's only had one sex partner in her life. Like, she just looks really classy, put together, sweet, reserved. Like, she looks like that. And then you have this other woman, and she looks like she's for sale. Like, I just don't know how else to say it. She looks like she's for sale.
All right, so
yeah, she's trying to sell her image.
All right, so now back to the.
I like this chick. I like her. I don't know what's her name. The one who's
Lauren
next to
De Laguna. She's feisty.
Lauren De Laguna. I think she's really funny. Like
Yeah,
she's
she's
really, really
feisty.
funny.
I was
I like her.
somebody made a comment on her thing. I guess she did like a clip of where she was on Fresh and Fit, and she's making a point where she kind of called out the men for something, and somebody in the comments like, you got to be classy and something because that's not who you are. And I'm like, you really don't know her. She was on a panel twice on my end and was given it just good as she get. So you
Really? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I can see that. I like her.
All right, so this is where the current events is at now, where she was a guest on Destiny. She was in Miami. Alex playing with fire on the left.
Oh, it says PBJ now. What the hell? PWF was. What?
He probably trolling or something. Let him rock out with that. He probably trolling.
Jeez. Okay. Like, dude,
But,
I'm like, I just found out what PWF was today. Now you're saying it's PBJ? Like, bro, I don't know then.
I try.
Peanut butter jelly.
Yeah, people be either changing avatars so much, and they'll come in like, hey, it's me. I'm like, who are you? And I'm like, I don't got time to guess no names, no letters. Even on shout out for Team Fatty, because Team Fatty got this GBBG something letter. I don't know what it is, and I'm just, you know, how you try to play the cool kid. I'm like, yeah, okay, and you just ignore it until somebody actually throw it out there in the chat or something. Like, gotcha, now I know too. So that's pretty much where I have it. But yeah, I don't know why he did it. That's something he probably like slip in the conversation. I don't know. But Alex playing with fire his end where he actually do he can correct me, male self-improvement, actually giving guys the quote-unquote game, pretty much the same tricks that the other women uses, where if it's filters or conversations or tactics to be aware of, stuff like that on his channel. And that's just pretty much me just summing it up. So he gives like a lot of advice to other men who doesn't know how, but he actually will take the time out to other guys. So he's pretty cool guy on the channel. So he's moderating for the debate that Janelle supposed to be on against Destiny, and Lauren is actually in behind just chilling.
I wanted you ganging up on me.
Gang.
The chat was saying that apparently she's debated Melina before.
Who is this lady?
Janelle.
Oh God.
When I messaged you about your reaction.
No, I remember. Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, I think I hate this woman more than any other single lady off earth.
Are you sure? I could think of a couple people.
Nope. Absolutely not. You'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready whenever you are. Oh God. Oh God.
Let me hit her up. What are some of the things you hate about her?
She's just like the ultimate pick-me.
I think we kind of summed it up real well, then, Ruby.
I'm sure it'll be fantastic.
Right?
Angela, this will be an open start conversation. What I can't debate for shit.
I like that chick, Angela Knight.
She
I like
debated
her.
playing with fire. She debated her on Fresh and Fit Valentine and podcast. Okay, yeah, I didn't see that one, but I heard about it. Are you sure Janelle won't flake like last time? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, she confirmed with me like an hour ago, so she would have to be really dedicated to flaking if she flakes on this. But yeah, I don't know. It always blows my mind though how people. Okay, she said she's logging on, so it should be good.
That's good.
Who's your friend, Destiny?
Laura.
Laura? Is that?
What's up?
I just wanted to say just really quickly. Also, this next scene that's coming up, I think, is super strange because I have no idea how this chick is in his house and he doesn't know her name. Moving on from that. No, it's weird.
But that's Destiny though.
Dude,
so the gentleman. So is the gentleman's name Destiny?
Yes.
And then he called her Laura, and she goes Laura.
Yeah, because it's not her name. No.
Okay.
Right, but she's inside of his house. But this is Melina. So the blonde one with the yellow dress, this is Melina's husband. The guy in the blue hair is Melina's husband. And then this chick is just in their house. Maybe she's Melina's friend, but I have no idea how she's there.
No, you gotta classify that right. He's like, hey, this chick is just in his house.
Like, yeah, no, that's what she's just in his house. I don't know, because when he said this is Laura, she's like, did you say Laura? And he's like, yeah, it's not Laura. And she's like, no, it's Lauren. But it's just like, how do you not know? Okay, anyway, that's not what I was gonna say. The whole point of what I was gonna say is I just wanted to clarify for the record, because pick me can mean different things. Right. And so now they're trying to say that a pick me is a good woman. The men feel like they rebranded pick me to mean a good woman. I don't know why we can't just say good woman, but cool. They think they've rebranded to mean good woman. That is not what pick me means. They tried to say that, women use invented pick me to shame good women. And I'm like, no, that's not what happened. Men invented pick me to identify this type of grifter, the type of grifting ass woman who comes in and says, I'm all the things you want. I agree with everything you say. I'm perfect. Pick me, and keeps up all of the mask until, you know, after the wedding, and then you realize, oh, she's a nightmare and she was lying. That's what a pick me.
If you're giving that type of like, I don't know, the way you just described at the end of it, I'm thinking like the the blonde college girls like from the movie, and all she do is like just pink here, pink there, and just literally do everything out her way to put herself in front of the men to get the attention to get said men.
Yes.
For marriage. That was pretty much
Yes.
what it was. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I just want to make it understand. I'm not Googling that. I'm not Googling that. All right.
What you just said?
Yeah, it's Lauren. That's my name.
Oh.
It's my name. He doesn't. We don't know each other that well. We're getting to know each other.
Just can't keep track of all your ladies. You know, every time I
That's
see
what
you,
it is.
new chick.
I can keep track of her mom. Don't worry.
Yeah. Tabs on that ass.
Ooh, yeah.
My mom was dead.
Aww.
I don't know why he inserted that one. He's like, my mom's dead.
I just want to find this one woman and ask her, what is she doing in the house then? Like, do they really not know each other? Like, this is wild to me.
She might pop up. She's in my Discord. Wins each other. I'm in her Discord.
Oh, please ask her for me. I just need to know this one thing. As soon as that happened, because I watched this, right? And as soon as that happened, I paused it and literally went back and went, did I miss something? What's happening here? Like, what? Like, we're getting to know each other. He doesn't even know my name, but he said, yeah, sure, come onto the stream with me. Like, what?
Stranger danger. Pokemon's in the house. Okay.
Okay. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. He was talking about my
My
mom.
mom was very well alive and she's doing good.
Well, that's not your poor mother. You're joking about her death.
Oh,
What
wow.
if she like dropped off during the stream? You'd be like regretting that joke.
Yeah.
Well, I think I would be sad if my mom dropped dead. I think I would have bigger issues than like the fact I made a joke about her. I think I would just be more mourning.
Don't you think that you would still like always wonder, like, oh, I wonder if like karma and I don't know, maybe there's something out there in the universe and I somewhat caused that.
That's what you should be thinking.
That's what you should 1000% be thinking.
Making a joke is enough to kill a loving mother, then I don't want any part of this world. I just want to fucking do drugs and.
Yes.
Alex, a man. He knows better.
But Destiny's constantly
Bless you, sir. Bless you.
advocating for.
Hand sanitizer.
Bless you. That's your soul.
Thank you. I'm gonna go on this 1 second.
Yeah.
Lord, are you?
Yes. I didn't see that part, but thank you. All right. Wash them hands. Wash them hands.
Streamer.
I was going on mute.
Yeah, I'm trying to stream. I'm recently out of school and waiting on licensing for some things before I start working. So I figured I might as well stream in the meantime. And so yeah, streaming, going on trips, doing shit like that.
Cool.
Baller.
Yeah.
What's up, Janelle?
Hi, Janelle.
Hey, how are you?
He's just using the restroom. We didn't do a beta.
Wait, what happened?
I'm saying Destiny's just taking a piss or something. We didn't do a beat and switch on you.
That's okay. I'm just gonna grab it 1 second.
No, I'm Destiny
Bruh.
actually. See, I've always been a woman.
Did you see that, Inky?
To see what? Where did she go?
I'll leave it. Hold on.
Wait, can we rewind it?
Okay.
I'll stream in the meantime. And so yeah, streaming. What's your name? Dustin?
What are you talking about?
Cool.
Yeah.
What's up, Janelle?
Hi, Janelle.
Hey, how are you?
Destiny's just using the restroom. We didn't do a beta.
Wait, what happened?
I'm saying Destiny's just taking a piss or something. We didn't do a beat and switch on you.
That's okay. I'm just gonna grab a water 1 second.
No, I'm Destiny actually.
Exactly.
See, I've always been a woman on the inside, but now I'm coming out to my community. This is the real me because I'm rich as fuck because you dumb fucks pay to watch me. I get this awesome surgery, so I look like a pretty good girl. And this is my friend. What's your name, Dustin?
What are you talking about right now?
This is Dustin.
Denise. Anyway, let's crack right into it. So let's do a very quick introduction. I think most of my audience knows who you are, Destiny. I don't think most of them know who you are. So Janelle, quickly introduce yourself.
Oh, yes. Hi, thanks so much for hopping on, Destiny, and Alex for having us, being such an amazing host. So my name is Janelle.
Just for FYI for the viewers, this is her mic. This is nothing on the Grey Pill podcast side. So this is her mic. All right. This is hers.
Gordon. I'm an intimacy tantric sexpert, which basically means through global luxury one-on-one in-person sessions, retreats, masterminds, online courses, all that stuff. I help men and women put the sex back in their marriage and relationships and help them live more of the orgasmic life. So who doesn't want more of that, right? Most of us do anyway.
I love that.
Wait, real quick. Either she's not using the right microphone or her cord might be loose because it's crackling a lot. But I'm sure she can. Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, I can figure it out. Hold on one second. I normally have people here to help me with this, but let me see. Hold on.
In the meantime, I'll do the introduction.
Is that better now or no?
Yeah, that sounds better.
Nice.
Oh,
is that better? I actually plugged in the microphone, so that's always useful, right?
Yeah.
You're good now. Anyway, here's Destiny's intro. I'm a famous streamer. I talk to a lot of people. I'm famous. I have blue hair. Yeah. Did I sum it up?
Yeah, you're good.
You guys know Destiny. Anyway, so let me explain my role in this. I'm going to be the moderator. I'm not going to get involved much. The only times I will get involved is one of two things happen. Number one person's talking over the other person so much that they can't get a word in. A little bit of interrupting I will allow. The second thing is that if I feel like the conversation is circling and I can help move it forward, I will jump in. But generally speaking, you guys will not hear from me much. This will be between you two. Janelle, you were the one that initially sort of initiated because you said that you have some disagreement. Melina and Destiny by default. So I'll let you kick it off first. You can just go through your disagreements one by one. And then what we'll do is we're going to give Destiny equal time. So after you get through all your disagreements, he's going to have time to go through all his disagreements that he has with you. I think it would make more sense for you to go first since I think you probably know his content better than he knows yours.
I actually don't. Like, I've never watched a video of his. Honestly, I thought he was a woman because no disrespect, I didn't know you, obviously. In the content, I'm not sure how should I reference her? Just Melina?
Yeah, wife.
Wife? Okay. Wife. I assumed because she was quite masculine and very masculine that you were a woman because I heard Destiny. And so if you watched, you probably didn't waste that 4 hours of your life. But if you happened to be bored and saw some of the highlights, you saw where I said, that's why you married a woman. And so that's
cap. You was throwing a jab. You was on Fresh and Fit the first time like a year ago. All male self-improvement podcast. That's what they call themselves. Des was on there a couple times. So it's not like you didn't see him. You was a guest on Donovan Sharp. You was a friend of Real Femme Sapient. You was a friend of, I can't remember the other woman. She's the only one I can actually not put on the table of as a griffer because she actually talk about marriage, relationships, and goals. She has like a little bob. I can't remember her name. But she's actually was successful, goal-driven, career-driven. Pretty much was making more money than her man at the point. But she said she actually her and the man, even herself, went to therapy either together, separate, so she can be more involved in the right, healthy way in her relationship. Because I think that's a good balance for most people. Like if you're always just a butthole and you trying to figure out like why it's me, but you're always picking and screaming at the world, she actually found a good balance. So she got married and she had the baby and she seemed like she's doing pretty good. So you had some idea, knew who Desi was. You typed the dude name up, he's all over the freaking place. So you knew.
Right. I mean, let's be real. Like Melina, again, why do I know Melina's story? Because it was all over YouTube. The whole drama of it all. Destiny stealing Melina from her man. The whole thing. Like, Destiny and Melina have been a thing and have been a prominent thing for years. Like, all over the internet.
I didn't even know that. I just knew of him through Aberrant Preach because, again, it's like whoever you're watching. You know, like I knew of, whatever. Like I can know of Saturday morning cartoon, but then the commercial might come on leading you somewhere else. But for YouTube, it's like, hey, wherever Preach go, that's your people you like, then is who they go to. Like, okay, then their names. Alba and versus Fresh and Fit, or Alba versus this, or Alba discussing or whatever that. That's how I knew of Destiny. And then next thing I was like, okay, let me go down the rabbit hole. Destiny debating all these other random guys or random people, or that's pretty much how I knew of him then. And then the wife situation came out. I said, okay, cool. Which I really didn't care too much about that. To me, that was just drama. So I was like, let me just get to the bulk of everything else. And here we are.
I guess that's what I mean, right? Like, you know, one or the other, like you might not have seen them both, right? But for you to Google one, who is Destiny married to? And it would pull up a picture of him and his wife, or at least their names or something. So likewise, if you're going to Google Melina, who is Melina married to? It didn't just pull up the name Destiny and leave you to guess who Destiny is. It pulled up this dude with blue hair. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's so disingenuous for her to pretend that she had no idea Destiny was this dude, right? Like, she just wanted to put the shot in that he named himself as like a female stripper and, you know, whatever. She just wanted to, she was taking a shot at his sexuality 100%. 100%.
And which is fine. Like, if she's like, again, debating, right? So they had the little discourse and she threw the jab to see if she can get her unhinged. And it's fair, but it didn't work. So here we are.
Came to be. I honestly don't have any grievances with you because I really don't know you per se. I've heard about you through the grapevine from some of my colleagues like Donovan Sharp, Ali, and the list goes on, but I don't know you per se. So I wanted to clear that up, Alex, because clarity is power, correct? And yeah, I don't have, but I think we do have, for the sake of the internet, viral moments, right? We do have very different opposing views, which is great because in our opposition, we can maybe find common ground or just better understanding or just viral content for you guys that are watching, basically, right? So I wanted to clear that up, Destiny. I really have never seen any of your content, but I just, you know, met your wife and it was kind of unpleasant, actually, fairly unpleasant. And I'm really easygoing. So for me to say that about someone was very, very.
Land the plane,
Now this isn't Melina, right?
No, okay, not only am I not
Wait,
Melina.
stop.
To call
No.
her.
Okay, sorry. She's a simp. Okay.
No, yeah, I am a simp for Melina.
Stop. Let me have a conversation. You need to stop.
Okay.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Yeah. Okay,
So I was just curious. This isn't Melina. I wasn't sure. I didn't want to be talking about you if this wasn't you, but I sat a few chairs down from you and I didn't think it was you, but I wasn't sure. So I'm old, so maybe my eyes were.
Bruh.
How could she miss that?
Bruh. And she was on a platform with her 4 hours. They look nothing alike.
Me.
This is not Melina, for the record.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Also, Janelle, your audio is still crackling a little bit. Can you fix that, please?
Right, Anki.
I have a question. So is Destiny, is he like a more viral podcaster versus his wife? And she's saying she didn't know who he is, so she's playing stupid?
Yes.
Exactly.
So she's trying to compete with him, in other words. She's feeling competitive towards him. That's what it is. She's feeling that she needs to compete against him.
Against Destiny? I was thinking she was competing against Melina, right? Because she had to have known who Destiny is. Destiny is the one who was on all of those channels that she follows and she's been on, right? Melina's only been on those channels a couple times and just recently. So I was thinking she really wanted to knock Melina down several pegs because she was feeling really threatened that this younger, far more beautiful, far more articulate, and therefore probably far more intelligent woman was challenging her on this stage and could probably steal all of her viewership from her, just like this, you know?
But Melina don't even care about the whole Fresh and Fit thing. The only reason she was there because her husband was there. And then one of the segments was actually related to the conversation because they was asking questions because Nick Receive was on one and it was hounding him with a bunch of questions. And then the second one was when Destiny came on with his wife and they was like, okay, let's have the conversation. And again, it's a relationship podcast. So they went to her, asking about their dynamic of their relationship. What's going on, Big Dice? Appreciate you.
Remember why women fight. When women are in a never-ending, constant battle for rank, in a way that men are not, right? Because men oppose the environment, and then their ability to win or lose at opposing the environment is what ranks them. But women's ability to battle each other and win is what ranks them. So this is why you will see women, as soon as her presence, Melina's presence, there's a threat, because if people like Melina better, or find her more watchable, more enjoyable, then in an instant she knows she's going to lose her position, because she doesn't mean anything she's talking about. It's not like this is a passion project of hers, right? So
Yeah.
that means anyone can lie just like she is. And really the only reason why no one's beating her out is because people who look better than her have more self-respect and dignity, and so they don't want to do this, right? But that's why Melina's the threat. So
See,
she's going to try to take her down no matter what.
See, that's a perfect example right there, where men and women are different. Like majority of men that frame. If I come in and say, we'll use Destiny for example. If I come in into that same podcast, I generally wouldn't care less. Like he's better than me, or he's hired in the media space, whatever. I generally can care less. Okay, it's nice. It might be a bragging right just to talk, say, oh, well, I met him, and that'll be it. End of the conversation.
Right.
And
exactly.
and that goes back to
It got
something, a
better.
statement
It's
that I
tolerable,
posted.
but it's not ideal.
I'm sorry, Inky, my bad. Let me pause it. Go ahead.
Okay, maybe.
Go ahead.
And that goes back to a statement that I posted in the chat earlier, where someone had said something about women being jealous, and I said, if they're secure with themselves, no, they hold their head higher and they look at them as either equals, but they don't feel that animosity towards the other one. So what you're saying is you are secure enough with yourself, Grey Pill, that you don't feel that animosity towards someone else, that inferior feeling, because you're secure with who you are.
Yeah, and it's a reality check too, because it's like, again, if I know, we'll use, if it's money, if it's status, if it's just on the platform, I know the reality is he has that more than I do, right? So am I going to get that in a snap of a finger? No. So why am I even tripping over that? It literally is what it is. So, and you're right. Yeah, he's good. I'm good. All right. And even when back in high school, like we had celebrities there, like from high school. I met him, I seen him. Okay, cool. Then if you see him on TV, like, yeah, I knew him from when we was kids, and that'd be it. It don't go no deeper than that. Am I going to be in the 6 o'clock news because of it? No. Do I care? No. It's just good to know that somebody stepped up and they doing what they doing.
Well, like, think about it like this. Like, we know that.
Sorry.
We know like 10,000 years ago in hunter-gatherer societies, right? The way that people physically fight now, like the way men physically fight, that's what they were doing back then if they wanted to battle each other. But again, generally, they got to be number one, number two, number three based on what their catch was of the day. Were they able to provide food? Were they be able to provide shelter or protection? So it was based on tactical things. And that's why, still to this day, if you're a healthy, functioning man, there's no point on you wanting to, I'm going to yell and scream and battle this guy for rank, because it doesn't work, right? Because it's about what you've been able to earn. If you haven't been able to earn it, it is what it is. That dude beat you. It's fine. But women never had that. And so a lot of what women were doing to battle was gossip. Even 10,000 years ago, women gossiped to try to knock each other down a few pegs, try to ruin your reputation and to try to raise themselves in the ranking, right? Because our ranking was always very fluid. It was never fixed, and it was never based on anything tangible. It was based on people's thought of you socially, right? Or your maybe how virtuous you were, how beautiful you were, if you're a good person or not, or how liked you are by the rest of society. That's what women were, battling with. And so you still see the evidence today. That's why women gossip and try to tear each other down. And men, unless they're very effeminate, don't do that.
Fair enough.
Off? I don't know. Let me try.
Yeah, try without the headset. Unplug that.
Gonna have to set up a second fight after this.
Chill. Jesus.
I think she's lagging.
How about now?
That's a million times better. Okay, you know what? Let's do this then. Let's just do a full-on open panel. You guys can just go in whatever order you want. There's no order. Just you can kick it off, Destiny. You can kick it off, Janelle. If you guys are really lost, it's better.
Is that better?
No.
Yeah, it's better.
No,
No, it's better. It's better. Yeah.
it's better. I just took the headset off. So
Yeah, you sound good now.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at Laura's face because I'm like
Okay,
we
again
get it.
here, she's flexing. She's flexing, right, Ruby? She heard him. She knew what he said, and she's reiterating it like, really? Playing that dumb role.
Yeah.
I hate to say it that way, but that's exactly how she's portraying herself.
No, you're right. You're right. And you're gonna see it the whole it's
Oh, this is
her
gonna annoy
tactic.
the crap out of me.
Yep.
I'm gonna want to smack her.
Yep. You will, trust me. So
Welcome to the train
annoying.
ride. Welcome to the train ride.
is that better? I'm
That's
so
fine.
sorry. I have this kick-ass studio which I do not know how to use. So
Flex.
normally someone's here to do.
All right, that's the part that triggered me because when she said I got a kick-ass studio, but everything right here you see is pretty much the norm that she's been having for like up to 3 to 4 years. Pillows, the wall, except for like if she's in another section of the room, that's what I see. So it can't be a kick-ass. And maybe it's me, I'm some bias here. I feel like my setup is a kick-ass studio, but that's just me. But I don't see it. I don't see it. Even down to the mic, the JBL headphones. Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
do all this, and today I'm solo, so I apologize. Just let me know if I need to fix something.
No,
I'm
you're
really
good.
great at things, but left-brained things like this is not my forte, which was
Yeah, you're
another
good.
discussion that Melina and I had.
You're good. All right, guys. So open panel, just kick it off. Whoever wants to kick it off first, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess. What are your? I don't even know what your primary disagreements are with me or Melina. I guess we share similar views on most things. So yeah.
Yeah.
Wherever
I
you want
think
to start, we can. Yeah.
the thing that I think was the most annoying thing about my time there, I literally almost walked off the stage, and I've been on with Adam that was my 5th time on Sauce, and I was about to leave. First of all,
That's Cap too. She was looking very comfortable on the stage. She had her legs crossed. She wasn't going nowhere. She wasn't going nowhere. She wasn't going nowhere.
it was just way too fucking long. And second of all, I just was so frustrated and annoyed by that energy that I was like, now I understand why men want to do things that are not so pleasant to women sometimes. And I felt that way, and I've never felt that way in my life before. So I was kind of like, wow, this is a very strong, like dominant masculine like energy, and coming from a woman. And so I was inherently
I gotta ask this because technically Inky is the outside woman looking in. So from the conversation you saw her with the wife Melina in the yellow dress, did you feel any masculine energy coming from her?
She's flexing now.
Okay.
I don't know about earlier, but right now she is, and if you remember, Destiny was about to speak, and then she literally cut him off to go back and play that role to get the attention back on her. About can you hear me? I took off my headphones. Remember? So that was her way of cutting into what Destiny was about to say, whatever it was.
So see, I told you you're gonna see it.
she's flexing right now, and she's trying to make herself very flamboyant, and she's trying to cater to this gentleman, Alex, whomever he is, not necessarily Destiny. She's trying to cater to the guy in the bottom screen. So I don't know what his significance is.
Yeah, which is weird, and I'm glad you brought that up. Which is weird because he has his own committed girlfriend, and they actually do have open relationship. But it won't be with her. It will not be with her because his girlfriend is actually more territorial, but they do have open relationships.
Maybe she knows that.
No, it's just I don't think it has to do with what she personally wants from Alex. It's the fact that at least in the pickup artist segment, right, and therefore in the white manosphere, he's a big name. So to get his cosign is going to bring viewership, support, whatever her way. If she can get in good on his team, right, that is going to help her. So she doesn't need Destiny to approve of her. In fact, she's wanting to use Destiny, and hopefully Melina, now that Melina's not here, she can just say a bunch of stuff that's not true. It doesn't matter. She'd still trigger people, but she's trying to use Destiny and Melina as her come up. So she's going to now beat the hell out of them verbally, right? And to try to big herself up, right? Look at all the great things I believe, guys. Don't you want to support me? And she's hoping she's going to impress Alex. So Alex will say, yeah, man, she got on that Destiny guy and really told Destiny where to go with that BS, right? That's what she's hoping she's going to accomplish.
We'll see. We will see.
At least shocked by that. I was like, who is this woman? And, you know, and I guess maybe we were battling out. I don't believe in alpha women, but maybe we were battling out for that place on the show, if you will, of who was the more dominant woman. And so I think the thing that was very like alarming to me was that she made men to be out like these docile, just very like helpless, emotional, you know, creatures who like just are, yeah, just like helpless, docile, emotional creatures. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, this is not how a man should be. First of all, like a man should be very dominant, should be kind of what you were, very dominant, very self-controlled, self-assured, present, unmovable, unshakable, kind of like all the qualities she was emitting. And so I was very confused on that play of where she got her views of masculine and feminine polarity and sexuality. And so was I think my main grievance with her. And it drove me quite nuts, actually. So that was the main thing.
Yeah. So I just want to say one thing, because one of the statements you made was just absolutely wild. And I don't know if this is because you've spent a lot of time in these spaces, so you've kind of like internalized like a hatred for yourself or other women. But the idea that like a woman says something and the first thought that comes to mind is, I understand why men hit women. That is a statement that is so indicative of an unimaginably toxic and self-hating thought process that I can't even imagine how many webs I would have to unweave to get to the core of that. I just had to make that comment. On the second thing, I don't think in general, I don't think Melina, well, let me finish. I don't think that Melina's issue is that she thinks that men are docile creatures that are soft and emotional or whatever. I think Melina's issue, and probably what I would say as well, is that men and women can both exhibit masculine and feminine traits, or men and women can both exhibit like alpha dominant traits and like submissive, feminine, and emotional traits. It really just depends on the time and place, and it depends on the person.
Right. And I'll address the first thing. I never condone violence to women. I have a nonprofit that literally is all about it. But when I mean like very...
The nonprofit that she mentioned 4 years ago, but after that, I barely seen. Look at I ain't gonna lie, I'm looking at Laura's face. But
Wait.
profit not. Go
She
ahead.
just said a nonprofit, and she just said that I can understand. No, her wires are twisted wrong. I have a nonprofit for that exact purpose, and you would never hear that come out of my mouth. Ever.
Very frustrated with women. And sometimes these men they do take, this was another argument we had. They take out their emotions in a way that's not correct, and they hurt another human. Like, and she was saying, oh, that makes men more emotional. And I was saying, no, incorrect. That makes men incapable of managing their emotions because they've never been taught how to. And that was a huge thing. She's like, men are more emotional than women. And I'm like, no, they're not.
No, that's not what she was saying.
They absolutely are not. Just from the standpoint of running through your veins, we have a myriad of estrogen, progesterone. We have a little testosterone too.
What is she saying, Ruby?
No, I mean, like she's saying that she was saying, okay, what she's saying here is not what she said on the show. She was literally saying on the show that no, actually, men are way less emotional because of all the extra hormones women have to be emotional. And like, dude, now what happened is they coached her. They went, no, what you said was stupid, because everyone has testosterone and everyone has, estrogens and androgens. Okay. Everyone has oxytocin. Everyone has this. Everyone has that. So here's how you can try to twist that so you don't come off being a total jackass, because if you're going to talk to Destiny, he's going to tear you apart with that argument. So that's what ended up happening. But the truth is, and she knows it, That's not what she was saying. She was literally trying to insinuate that because of the difference in hormones, that women are the ones who are hyper emotional. And sure, men have a little tiny bit of emotion, right? But normally, the only reason why we see it is because on rare occasions, they don't know how to handle their emotions. But I mean, it's so rare. Like, that's what she was saying. How is she going to try to twist it? Yeah, men's emotions so rare.
Which brings me to my next point of what you were saying is absolutely correct. We as men and women both do have masculine and feminine energy in us. Literally, if you were to cut the body down the half, the left side is the feminine, the right side is the masculine. And we have equal, not equal, but we have those energies that play into our being.
Ma'am, if you cut us in half, that's equal.
So, for instance, the reason why you were attracted to Melina is because your inner feminine was attracted to her inner masculine and vice versa. And there's this.
She's hot.
Sorry.
To be fair, she is attractive.
She's very beautiful.
What'd you say?
And because she's hot.
Okay, perhaps that as well. But there's still like there was a dynamic that played into that connection, because we go back to the basics of science and everything in the universe is energy, like everything from the smallest.
Sure. Okay, just let's do a little point by point on this. Okay. I don't understand what you mean when you say men aren't emotional, but they have or as emotional as women, but they have testosterone flowing through them. Wouldn't that be a reason why people could be more emotional? Is because they have testosterone? Like, does anger not count as an emotion for you?
No, it is an emotion. Okay, so then perhaps there's clarification needed on what that means. When she was saying,
man, we got to think before we speak, ma'am. We got to think before we speak.
Emotional.
She's not saying anything that makes sense, though.
She's just all over the place with it. I mean, it get worse, Inky. It get worse.
You know what pisses me off is this argument that testosterone just means anger. It does not. When people's testosterone plummets, they often, sure, you might get a little weepy, but a lot of your more forceful emotions disappear, right? Like your ability to be just like passionate emotions kind of disappear. So testosterone is not just, oh, well, there's anger and that's the male emotion, and then all the other emotions are the female emotion. Like, no, that's not true at all. First of all. Second of all, you have people who have AIS, right? That's androgen insensitivity syndrome. That means their body literally does not respond to androgens. Testosterone is an androgen. Do you know what? Do you think those people are just abnormally happy? No, they also get angry and they get sad and they get a whole bunch of different things, right? Because we're acting like emotions are some wild like thing that just comes out of nowhere. This hormone pumps into you and then boom, you're angry. Boom, you're this. Boom.
Like the Incredible Hulk?
Yeah, really, like, emotions are responses to things that happen. They're mitigated by lots of things in the brain, including our connection to, hey, this person insulted me. Insulting me is not a good thing. Like, you don't need testosterone for that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's wild.
Back on the train, Ruby. Back on the train. Let's go.
Sorry.
to go back and think exactly what the prompt was. But I think we were talking, man, I don't know. Help me if you can remember, Alex, what the prompt was. But it was.
Well, I know, because me and Melina have had this conversation before, that there's an argument that's used oftentimes that women are the emotional ones and men are not the emotional ones. So they're the stoic ones. But in my opinion, that's just wholly not true. Men are quite emotional. And if you look at things like violent crime or whatever, I mean, like what's a more raw emotion than anger or stuff that's expressed as violence? Like, so, and men get very angry and very violent, depending on the circumstance. So it just seems weird to try to say that like men are less emotional than women. Women are probably more emotional in certain types of ways, and men are probably more emotional in other types of ways. But I don't know if I could draw like an absolute value of saying one sex is more emotional than the other. That seems like very reductive and impossible to measure.
Well, I think I think that there's a difference in regards to the emotions. You're correct. Anger is an emotion, and men often they're privy to that because it's single pointed focus for the masculine energy. Men are typically, there's tons of books written about it, TED Talks. No one's great at multitasking, but if anyone is good at it, it's women. We can juggle and balance a lot of things because we're supposed to be mothers. We're supposed to have children. That's why I can run a business. and take care of a son and have a nonprofit and do a lot of stuff. Like I can be doing my yoni eggs, Kegels right now while I'm doing this podcast with you. Like I can do multiple things at once, you know? So exactly. YoFactors.com, check out my shop. You can buy the yoni eggs there. But anyways, but men are not great at that. You guys are more successful. If you look at it, like who are the—
Are you great at doing Kegels?
Stop. I am doing Kegels. Go ahead.
He's probably squeezing up on his perineum, which is great too for men. But in regards to like the fact that you guys are single pointed focus, which is why most of you, who are the top YouTubers in the planet? They're mostly men. I know who they are, and some of them are, there's like a couple women that make the cut. But as a rule of thumb,
she really got to do her homework if she's talking about YouTube. She really got to do her homework. There's a lot of top female content creators out there, but it's not. But they don't talk about relationships. This is the problem what I have with people on panels and conversations especially when I think the only thing would trigger me when people speak in absolutes, especially when it comes to media. But we'll use YouTube for example. I say this all the time. YouTube is over 1 trillion large. This means content creators, even down to the chat that we have here, because you made an account in YouTube. Collectively, we are over 1 trillion large. Where we at right now, just for the Gray Pill Podcast, 0.00001% of the space of YouTube out of that trillion. So for her to make that comment is like so much wrong. I can't explain it. I advise everybody go out there, search a little engines, and just type in anything. You could type in the houseplant. You will see a male or a woman. They own content, talk about houseplants. It would be over 100,000 of subscribers, over 100,000 viewers. There is a woman that actually has a very hot, attractive woman doing nothing but chainsaws, showing you different types of chainsaws, cutting down trees. That's her niche. You have another woman, love her to death, talk about nothing but Yu-Gi-Oh cards. We have another one in the chat, man, her talk about this all the time. There's a Filipino woman in her own space, in her own realm, just has music just playing and just helping other content creators build up their sub counts. There's so many out there since we're trying to speak about the women. So please do the homework when we speak on stuff like that. Please.
Don't forget Amber Shaw. She started hers. She was living on the streets in LA, bought a camera at a thrift store, and did thrift shopping as she grew. And she's over 3.6 million.
There you go.
And all she does is shop and show people what to buy. That's it.
There you go.
Wow.
most women are not Pearly. And Pearly, with all due respect to her, she is I consider her a colleague and somewhat of a friend. Let me say this very carefully because I know this is going to get back to her. When you look at her at first, you don't necessarily see, oh, feminine women. But when she talks and her point of view is quite feminine in regards to the rules of masculine and femininity. I hope I said that PC because I don't mean any ill will towards Pearly. Your girlfriend or your wife, Melina, she actually kind of does look quite feminine. When you saw her, she was like me. She had a nice dress on, her hair done, but then she opened. So I think in regards to, yes.
She literally just called her colleague and friend stupid. She just called her friend and colleague stupid.
Yeah.
She just called her own colleague and a friend less of a friend. I'm gonna still keep the conversation on Janelle because my bias is I think Pearly Thing is the Lex Luthor of YouTube. That's just my opinion. But if anybody could you could look her name up. Just the interviews, not the panel she's been on, just the interviews, her posture drops. Just straight drops. So, yes, I know she's a female. Do I know that she's a feminine female? That would be questionable because, again, beauty is subjective. Beauty is subjective. So,
well, like, what does feminine mean? Are we talking about feminine looking? Because, yeah, I know Pearl would absolutely lose that against almost everybody, like, including some men. So like, no, she's definitely not feminine looking, but when we're talking about behavior now and attitude, I don't know where the confusion came in that feminine has anything to do with basically being a docile, complacent doormat who never gets passionate about anything, never argues a point, never stands up for themselves in a discussion. Like, I have no idea how that got so conflated and confused, but it's not actually true. Women and feminine energy, okay, absolutely debates and stands up for itself and whatever. Right now, you could say that there's a lack of aggression, right? And I would say Melina fights with a lack of aggression, whereas in Pearl, and actually to some extent Janelle Gordon, you see there's an underlying aggression to what they're doing, to the decisions that they're making and whatever. Even while she plays, she has to play stupid. Janelle Gordon has to play stupid, right? And play dumb, ditzy, whatever, to hide the aggression of the things she's doing, right? I'm going to cut Destiny off, but I can't just do that because then they can call me masculine for it. So I'm going to, hey, do you guys hear me? Sorry, my earphones, right? It's a game though, right? So it's like, dude.
I ain't gonna lie, that women like that kind of annoyed the crap out of me. Like it triggers me. So those type of women I just can't be around. Like, you do that dumb, ditzy, blonde type behavior, I'm just gonna look at you.
Right?
It's not, to me, it's not attractive. That's just my opinion. I mean, some guys might fall for it. Cool, great. It's just not.
Men have a lot of emotions too. However, the emotion that they mostly go to is anger. Boom, they punch someone, it's over. They're very successful because their brain is more pronounced and more focused in this region. Where women, we have a myriad of emotions. Earlier, I was not happy. Now I'm happy. Now I'm angry at you. Now I want to have an oh. Now it's like we're always changing, and that is the feminine. Men are not like that as much unless they're quite feminine, or unless they're beta, or the S word that everyone likes to throw out. So that is.
That's what it sounds like to me. That's what. But she put that on all women though, so I think it's her because she's exhibiting those behaviors and traits right now.
It's like when it comes to a man that you want to look up to and to take care of your children. I don't know if you have children, but to like provide for your seed. Do I want a man whose emotions are like this, up and then down, and then I'm mad, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm confused, I'm lost, I can't make a decision? Or do I want a man that's like, I know what I'm doing right now, boom, and they do it? And that's what I want in a man. I would never date a beta. So I agree with you on men are emotional too, but they channel that into the gym or into that's why men are more successful than women. There, I said it. That's why.
Yeah. So I think. Yeah. So I think I understand what you're saying.
And this just for her. I would love for her to show because in the red pill space, they're always about the data statistics. So I would love for her to show the data statistics on that one, because there's also a lot of women that are breadwinners in a relationship, and they have very great relationships. And just like us men, if it doesn't work out, they take the L's and move on. Okay, cool. You're not who we supposed to be, who you are moving forward. If it's 5 years, 10 years, relationship's over. Pick up and move on. Got to pick up the pieces and go on. So I would love for her to show me the statistics on that.
Saying, I mean, I disagree with literally every single thing you said. I think to reframe almost everything you said, like, I can agree in general that you don't want to be with like a more emotional person or an unstable person. I never understood why you guys gender this stuff. Like, all the bad things you're describing of being like with an emotionally unstable guy who's changing his feelings, like nobody would want to be with a woman like that. Like, those are just bad qualities for anybody.
Okay. I mean, that's very interesting. I find that quite fascinating because.
All right, I apologize. It's the mic for me.
I like this guy.
If anybody could pay attention to the mics, okay, look on the right how Destiny's interacting his mic, right? You could tell when sound travel. You see Lauren and how she got closer, and you can hear her through the mic. If she got closer, a little bit louder, the pitch, you get a little bit farther, you can hear. Her mic isn't plugged up. This is for YouTube audio 101 for people out there who doesn't catch this, content creators will. Her mic isn't even plugged up. Even if it's plugged up, it's not on. So whatever device she got, you hearing it from that device. You're not hearing it from the mic. So that's just me. All right.
Right. Also, it's too distant. It's too distant.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So she's at the same frame. Every time she grabbed the mic moving closer, the pitch never changes. So that mic is not working. But she got a badass setup, according to her.
Yeah, you're right. People don't want, especially men who have massive empires that they're creating and that they're building, multi-million-dollar men. If you look, or billion rather, if you look at the most successful men in the world, behind them, you've always seen a woman who's kind of in the background, who's probably not crazy. Like you look at what is Trump and his wife. You look at Bill Gates. You look at Elon. You look at the guy from Amazon, Bezos. Even though now he's traded, divorced and got a baddie, like an older age appropriate baddie. Shout out to him for that. Like all these things, you see these women who were really holding it down. And if you ask them, hey, was your woman unstable? They would probably say no. She kept her emotions together, but did she change a lot? And they would say, absolutely, yes. She was, this way, this moment. In this moment, she was very nurturing because she was taking care of our children. In another moment, she might have been upset at me for an argument we had.
Yeah, this thing you're talking about, like changing up or whatever, like any successful, reasonable person has to do this. This isn't just like a man, or like a man has to step into, especially if you're going to talk about like founding businesses, like men have to step into all sorts of different roles for that. At one point, you might be dealing with an honorary client. At another moment, you might have to deal with an employee that works in like actual like hands-on manufacturing. At another moment, you might have to deal with a vendor that you have to like buy and sell things from. And another moment, you might have to go home and deal with your family. Like this thing of like changing mental states and dealing with a variety of types of situations that call for different types of emotional states, I don't think is unique to men or women. And I would say the most successful men are also going to exhibit these like changes in emotions as well.
When you were said to go back to, you said, why does this have to go back to gender? Well, because it does. Because everything in the universe does have absolutes. We live in this.
Whoa. Whoa. She said everything in the world had to deal with absolutes? No.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what she said. I remember tripping over that too. Yep.
Whoa.
Really leftist liberal world now. I don't. I'm in Newport Beach where everyone is extremely conservative.
We're neighbors.
You're in Newport?
Laguna, hence De Laguna.
You guys are in Laguna Beach, really?
No, he's in Miami. I am in
I only go down
Laguna.
to visit her mom.
Oh, you're in Laguna. Okay.
But it's nice.
Yeah,
I consider him a stepdad.
Everyone always tells me, oh, move to Laguna because it's like Hippieville. You'd fit in there. And I'm like, yeah, rich Hippieville, but you can't get out of Laguna.
Yeah, guys, let's keep it on point. Let's keep it on point.
Okay.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
Okay, all right. We're just trying a little bit of neighborly chatting.
He hears her
But
gloating
anyways, in
again.
regards to
That singular focus. Alex just did that masculine thing. Yeah,
Nice.
sorry, go ahead.
He's an alpha male now. He's an alpha male. There you go.
That's it. And then I got sidetracked because a woman, just look at her hormones and her cycle.
Right. You keep showing like the
I see your cycle right now.
opportune-
It's coming out.
Yeah, you keep showing like the epitome of femininity. For instance, like when I think of the epitome of femininity, I'm thinking of like a woman whipping out a whiteboard and explaining why all other women are whores. That's like the pinnacle of femininity. So yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, Melina's the masculine one, and all the women that you named are ultra feminine all the way.
Correct. Well, I'm just saying. What is your name? I don't know what your name is. I'm sorry.
Nobody does. It's
Lauren.
Damn, I was gonna think of something
Shut
funny.
up.
I didn't think of it.
Was it Zerka? Laura?
Lauren. Sorry, go ahead.
It's Lauren.
Lauren. My apologies, Lauren. You're
No
quite
worries.
beautiful. Thank you so much for chiming in on that. You're correct. I'm very I'm not single pointed focused at all. That's why when I teach my retreat.
Oh my God, bro. Why are we even having this debate on Alex's channel if you're not singly focused? She just said she had a nonprofit, but you're not singly focused. You have a child, but you're not singly focused. You're old as dirt and you're not singly focused. Like, what's going on?
Probably has to do with the absolutes, right? Because either you are or you're not, right? There's no
gray area.
no shades of gray. Exactly. No gray area.
Oh, the jab. The jab. Oh man, that's all right. I'm hopping back on the train.
I do better when I have my counterpart who he played in the NFL. He's in the mindfulness community, and he'd be like, "Okay, Shakti, here's what we need to do. You went off on a tangent because that's how women's brains work. We sort of it's been proven that men speak X amount more thousands less words than women do. We just
You should.
operate differently. And you're right. You do have to be, Destiny, in a position where you have a business. I'm sure you have a lot of people who help you run your business, or I don't know, maybe you do it alone, but it would seem like you'd have a team. And so you're delegating and you're doing this, but your range of emotions are staying fairly much so the same, which is why a lot of times women get frustrated with men because they don't get more emote. They don't get that emotion. Why doesn't he text me his undying love for me? He's busy, bitch. Like, he's creating, he's working, he's doing
Hey, watch that potty mouth.
stuff. Like, if you want all that lovey-dovey stuff, then maybe date a woman or maybe date a beta man, because perhaps you might get that then.
No,
and
this
this
is
is
literally the stupidest argument ever.
You're
in
trying
life.
to get Melina?
No, she's.
No, I'm kidding.
Just
I'm kidding.
ignore
Go
her.
ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
You would definitely, probably make on nice with her in that respect. But no, I think, and in regards to living in this blank society where there's no absolutes and that everyone can just pick a gender, like, it just doesn't work that way. I want to be Kim Kardashian, but that doesn't mean I can just say, oh, I identify as her and today I become her because we have dark hair and I'm ethnic, I'm from Morocco. Like, it doesn't work like that, and so
Okay. So yeah,
Everybody, before Destiny goes off, everybody in the chat, close your eyes and picture a blonde-haired girl that the description of Ruby gave of a picnic. That's what I'm seeing right now. If you close your eyes, imagine a ditzy blonde saying the most wildest stuff all over the place. This is literally what I'm hearing right now.
You're talking about the Janelle girl, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And to Just Jay, is she an escort? Now, listen, is she an escort? Well, she would say no. She would say that she's a one man kind of woman. However, she also says that she had to explore the tantric path, which involved her being fully poly and sleeping with all kinds of men. And who knows how many times she got paid for that. So we don't really know 100% because she's just not that honest.
And she's from like the LA area. I wonder if she used to work in Vegas at one of the nightclubs.
I would almost
Like stores,
guarantee
maybe.
I would almost guarantee that they found her on Seeking Arrangements because that's how Lyron and I don't even what's his real name?
Fresh
again?
Walter Weeks.
No, what's his real name?
Walter Weeks.
Walter Weeks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. That's how Lyron and Week over there find a lot of those women that they have on the podcast. A lot of them they'll end up finding on the Seeking Arrangement thing, right? And then they try to, hey, just come onto my podcast, and then in exchange, you sleep with me, right? Because they're losers. So I mean,
Well-
I don't know. Maybe that's how they found her.
Well,
wouldn't
just how
doubt it.
she represents herself, how she's dressed, her persona is like an ex-dancer.
Right? Or like
Yeah.
ex-porn star or something like that. She really gives off for sale. Like,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's a hard thing to do unless you've been for sale, right? Like,
Yeah, because I didn't understand the whole, like, because I was still stuck on the whole Tantra Kama Sutra Buddhist thing that she was selling, because a lot that I've seen when she said that, I was like, I spoke to somebody I knew that's a therapist, asked like, hey, is this real or this is real? And then I'm looking up the whole the Tantra, I'm trying to make sure I pronounce it right, the Tantra Kama Sutra thing. They stay in their lane. They stay in their lane. Now, I could see, for example, if they was one of the actual professional ones actually invited onto Fresh and Fit to have that conversation, they will still stay in their lane of conversation. They won't pivot to like, oh, well, I will try this. I would do it. No, this is how it is. This is like professional, just like lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Gray, with you saying that, you triggered a thought that she would be much more submissive if she actually lived the life of that Tantra. They are submissive to their significant other. They're not dominant. She's very dominant. She's dominant with everyone on this panel.
Yeah.
I agree.
She's not a submissive. And that her behavior that she is expressing here is not a way to get men, except for maybe one night. She would have to be able to become submissive and feminine. She doesn't carry feminine characteristics. I don't know what she's supposed to be, but she's not. The one sitting back here in the back, is more submissive than she is, and
Yes.
she even has more dominance. Like, she still carries dominance, but
Yeah.
she's only in
Mhm.
defense dominance. She's the submissive to Destiny. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
hmm
But she's still standing up for the actual feminine women.
Yes, absolutely. And that actually, to me, I'm sorry, but I do believe that is actually a feminine trait. Now, I understand in this space, they say, well, say the black manosphere. So I'm assuming the white manosphere does the same thing, but they'll say women defend women, then they're part of the sisterhood, right? These women who are modern women who hate men. But in my viewpoint, women who cannot get along with other women, who don't feel that need to defend other feminine women and whatever, I feel like there's a problem there. Like you don't fit. And it's probably because you are a dominant masculine kind of force, and the softer, more feminine type of women, they repel that, right? Um the other thing though that I've noticed, because I am a submissive now, when I say that, people go, no way, not Ruby. Ruby, you talk so much and you're so argumentative and you battle to the yeah, on a panel, right? Because that's what I'm here to do, right? Like I came into this space to do that. That is not, it isn't the same thing as the way that, I treat my husband, the way that I interact in my life space, right?
Amen.
So in that way, I'm like, I kind of like to be like, oh well, that how she is here doesn't mean that that's how she treats her man. But I listen to other details of the story, right? Because if you listen to other details of my story, it's very clear. Like I'm very happily kept woman, right? I don't want the purse strings. I don't want the control of those types of things, right? I do defer absolutely to what my husband wants, what he needs from me. Everyone knows I will get up in approximately an hour, so I don't have much longer. Then I gotta go. I make my man's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I pack it all for him so he takes it with him to work. I take care of stuff in a very traditional way, and you can tell by the stories I tell. Every
I
story she's told me tells me that she's a very alpha man. So
I
I
really
don't know.
like her, Gray. I really like Ruby.
Welcome to the Gray Pill Podcast. Welcome to the Gray Pill Podcast. But I agree with that, and also what
you.
RUMU said. People think the way you react online is how you are or an intimate relationship. Exactly. I knew one person. She's been married for like 20-something years. And let's say, for example, if she happened to be up like 2 and she know her man is coming, her husband coming on, like she does like you do, like, hey, I'm gonna cook for him, or well, I'm gonna be there when he get up. So she's like, well, I might just stay up for another 2 hours, because if I know if I go to sleep, I won't get up enough time to do what I need to do. So she would stay up for like extra hour or two to do what she need to do. Me, I am like, I don't do the talking in real life. I'm less talkative. Somebody like her, I would never really interact with. I'm pretty much just a chill, laid back person. But when I have like, I think 25% of people that I know personally actually be watching my channel, and then one person might catch and be like, "Oh, well, why don't you be interactive and da 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 da?" In real life, I'm like, but you do this online. I'm like, that's online again, because this is what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Who else is gonna do it? So
I need to learn that.
What'd you say, Inky?
I said I need to learn that.
Yeah, but it depends on like with your content, because I can't tell you about your content, but for me, it's like I have to work on strength and weaknesses, right? So let's say I put out in a community tab for a debate with Real Nathan Daly. So I say, but I felt confident enough because of the actual topic, because he felt something different that to a content creator. I say, I think I can beat him in the talking points of that. And there was another one with Robbie Privilege, but we kind of know each other, so we pretty much joke around about the foods because I love to cook. So I said, well, maybe that'd be a thing. So then out of nowhere, I found another content creators happen to say, oh, they can cook. And I say, oh, I challenge you. So I say, well, that could be a thing on the podcast, right? Either, like a cook off type deal, go from there. Then shout out to Fatty, because I've, whether you like him or hate him, I like him because he's an underdog. He built a space for himself, which I think I admire a lot of people like yourself, Ruby, Knowledge and Relationship, all these other small content creators, even the ones that came up, they built a space for themselves. So those are the ones I like. So with Fatty, he knows how to debate. He got a good head on his shoulders. He know how to pivot and weave when it's time to pivot and weave. And he knows how to be a content creator, meaning that when the opportunity arises, oh, that's content to be had. So he dives into it. So me, I learn from those type of people and try to look at my weaknesses first, bump my strength, look at my weaknesses and build on that and move forward with that. So that's what you're supposed to do. But also understand, like, when I unplug from this, I am me. I'm not the let me go grab some content. I don't care. I'm literally just chilling, watching my TV. The PS5 is there. If it's not there, or I take walks all the time, or I take some jogs, or I get out the house. And even that might be weird for most people outside in the real world, because like you got a car, but you're walking 2 blocks. Yeah, because I felt like walking 2 blocks, maybe to see a neighbor or two, maybe to get out and see some fresh air. It happens.
I just don't communicate with people. And you know, Eddie, how you could tell? Just ask any of my friends online. How easy is it to message me and get an answer? Not very. Now, normally, because if you message me today, I might get back to you today. It's more likely I'll get back to you in the next like 48 hours. Like, you know, I'm like one of those people like, yeah, I'll get back to you in 72 business hours. But I'm like that with everyone, like in general. If you don't live inside of my house, it's very difficult to get hold of me. And it's because I really like my peace and I like my solitude.
Yeah, even down to the contact information, like with here, I'm like, no, it's nothing wrong, nothing against you, but it's like everybody I know, no, that's fine. But everybody I know, for as the networking part, it's probably like 10 contacts, different forms of contacts. I have to reach out to people, but at the same time, I can't get offended because that's what they prefer. You know what I'm saying? So like same thing with me, even down to texting. I don't. It's weird, maybe because I don't know. Depends on who I know, whatever. If it's a conversation or you need to talk to me, then have a conversation. I don't mind a phone call, but let's get to the point of the conversation. But again, that's me in real life. So yeah, all aboard.
Okay.
So you have like, so I don't think there's anything I'm going to be able to say to get through to you. I think you have like an entire worldview that's built on like all of these things that are all hinged off of one another. So I don't know if you're going to change your mind on any particular thing. So I guess I'll just give my quick spiel, and then I don't know if we're ever going to connect in this conversation just based on what I'm hearing. I think that you have men and you've got women, and I think there are some differences, but I think we're like 90% similar, and then you've got like 10% is like some masculine idea, and then 10% is some feminine idea. The idea that men and women are so unbelievably dissimilar, and there are all these positive masculine traits, and if women exhibit any of them, that's bad. There's these positive feminine traits, and if men exhibit any of them, that's bad. I think it's a really toxic way of thinking. I think it's damaging to relationships. I think it's adversarial for dating, and I think it gives people a really skewed and disgusting perspective of the world. If you're a man and you go into a relationship expecting to just be ultra masculine and exhibit regulate stuff like this, you're going to fail in every single relationship you go in, and women aren't going to want to deal with you. No woman wants a man like that, except maybe in these spaces some women will pretend to, but they won't actually ever go after those because they'll date them for 1 year and then quit and be like, why was I with these schizoids? And then same thing with the same thing on the other end. This idea that like, women are emotional and they have this trouble, like, you know, managing describing like children or retarded children sometimes. And no man wants to date a woman that like can't emotionally regulate. No man wants to date a woman that is like crying and breaking down and going through all these phases and can't handle anything whatsoever. And every human being has a healthy balance of masculine and feminine encompassed traits inside of them that they can manage really well and deploy at specific situations. Like in some cases, like masculine men exhibiting feminine traits is the most attractive thing in the world, and feminine women exhibiting masculine position between male and female, because I think it just doesn't map onto any part of reality, and it just sets.
No, the audio is choppy. Just Destiny, he talks real fast. That's just all this. He just talks real fast.
Everybody else uptown.
He has to get a word in edgeways.
Answering this question, you are correct in a few things you said, and a few of them are it's just so far left and so like anyone can be a tree or whatever, like that whole
I don't believe anyone can be a tree, to be fair.
only trees can be trees, right? You don't have it. My son is super healthy, so but
to be clear, I do have a son and he has ADHD, so he's basically retarded. So I think I get to say retarded, but go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I stand corrected. I digress. But in regards to like talking about women like children, now you really come into the red pill. Or we're saying that women have to be, you know, subservient, and they're literally a box, to quote my friend, who I cannot stand when he says that, and I've made it very clear.
But Myron is an alpha male. He's like the grand poobahs of red pill. So and you gotta be submissive, right? So if Myron says it, you got the conceit to what he's saying.
Especially if that's what she's teaching. She's
Makes
supposed to
sense.
be submissive.
Yeah.
That I do not agree with that at all. So in those regards, I agree with you 1,000%. Women are powerful. We create freaking life and we give birth, and that's not a weak task. It did take a lot of obviously qualities, stay on task and push and not let the pain overwhelm you, etc., etc., etc.
But you realize that that sucks, right? Like if you're
I have
reduced
never heard. Yes.
No. I'm saying it sucks if you reduce yourself to some innate biological capability you have of pushing children out of yourself.
Well, unfortunately, the leftist agenda has made it so that women forego being a mother and being a wife, and being able to submit to a worthy present man who's dominant and who leads and fiercely protects them, to become successful in the community and by vibrators and cats.
What the? I want to keep going.
There's so many things I want to say.
This is the agenda that's now being pushed on.
So I'm like, there's just so many things that you can say to her right now.
Yes. Look at her, Ruby.
Okay, I didn't know I was frozen. Oh my, I've been frozen all this time since I did that. Okay.
Well, it's a perfect expression of how we feeling right now.
I know, right? It's no, I was literally feeling like that the whole time, but I didn't know that I was frozen in that position.
Yeah, there you go. That's how we feeling right now. This is literally how all of us is feeling.
That's a perfect picture.
You want to come back in?
No, I know it's no. I'll fix my camera. My camera likes to act up. It'll be fine in this. I'll fix it. I promise.
All right, no problem. All right.
I really thought Ruby was in some deep thought right there, and I'm like, man, I can totally agree.
I wasn't at all. I was typing. That's so wild. I was typing actually to the practice room because I was trying to explain the point we were sort of making earlier. This idea that, for example, I'm actually incredibly introverted. I'm an introverted extrovert. That is, when I communicate with people, it seems like I'm an extrovert because I'm really good at it and whatever. But for me, it takes a lot out of me mentally, emotionally, physically. And then I need a lot of recovery, right? And so some people might not, because they're the same level of, communicative, whether they're online, offline, whatever. But I'm like, for me, I need to perform. So I come here, I do my job in a way, right? And it's very different than the way I'm at home. When I'm at home, I'm very quiet and whatever, because I don't have to perform. I don't have to communicate, right? You have to come on the panel and communicate. Otherwise, why be here, right? So that's not like you putting on a bunch of different personalities, right? That's you doing what you need to do for your job. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I was trying to explain, but it was just not going well. So I was so focused on trying to explain that in 140 characters, I didn't realize I was frozen. I'm sorry. I'll fix it.
All right, fine. All right. Back on the train.
Women, and they're missing out on the gift of life, of bearing children and of being nurturing. And you're right, I wouldn't want a man who couldn't connect with my children and who couldn't be nurturing to them at times. But I don't want a weak man who's all over the place, who changes his mind and emotions, because then why am I going to trust him? This is why
you wouldn't want a weak woman either. You wouldn't want a woman that does that either, a woman or a man. Both of those things
So
would be
there
bad.
has to be one leader in every relationship. And this is the other point, that now that we're talking.
What does that mean? What does it mean to be a leader in a relationship? I don't know what that means.
There's
Hold on tight, Inky. Hold on tight.
There's no such thing as a 50-50 relationship dynamic.
There literally is. Even in a business, you can have 50-50 owner. What do you mean? Of course.
But people, good business owners, know it's suicide to be 50-50, because then you don't have the upper hand should something go awry. Someone might be
give me an example of when you say be a leader.
That's her
in a
paranoia.
Yeah, Inky.
That's it. That's her paranoia. She's afraid to not have the upper hand in her relationship. That's why she's competitive. I mean, and that's not why she's competitive. I'm sure Ruby, she is really good with words, Ruby, and she could tear that apart and explain it much better than me. But that's a trigger point for me. When she said that, that is not a woman that I would ever, if I was on that side of the fence, I would never be able to date, because she's the one that has a hand on the doorknob and one hand on the relationship.
Right.
Real good. Real good.
Relationship. Can you give me an example that doesn't involve violence, where you need to be the leader in a relationship?
I'm not referring to violence at all. I simply made that statement because I feel like men and women are very much so misunderstood. And when a woman gets into her masculine, I see why it's frustrating for a man, because the only thing he knows is violence. And so he goes to that.
Wait, no, I'm sorry, violence. What I mean is, usually when people say I'm a leader in a relationship, when I ask them, what do you mean by leader? The example they give is somebody breaks into the house, I need to kill them. So I'm saying outside, so I'm asking when you say, so I'm asking when you say be a leader in a relationship, what does that mean, to be the leader?
All right, so I like to use analogies because it helps people to understand better.
Sure.
So for instance, if you do, I don't, no offense, but I don't know. Were you an athlete? You don't look like you watch sports much, but I'll go ahead and give you.
I did a little bit of cross country, but I know, I understand sports. I could kill you in one punch.
Go
ahead.
dating professional athletes my entire life. I've worked with them. I know. So if you talk about sports, if you talk about the team, see, we'll just take football. Okay. There is many coaches in the football dynamic, but there's one head coach and he calls the shots, and then he brings
Hold
it
on,
down.
wait, no analogy. Just tell me in a relationship, what does it mean to be a leader? I don't know why because like team, we don't do like if you're talking about like one quarterback, like one man dating like 10 or 12 or 15 women or whatever, sure. But we're talking about a one-on-one relationship. What does it mean to be a leader?
Dynamics of how our teams or operations function. We can take sports, we can take the army, we can take anything in life. Your kids going to school, there's not 10 teachers or 2, there's 1. So it's
but these are all situations where it's one person leading many. We're talking about a partnership, a man and a woman. What does it mean to be a leader in a relationship?
With children, in most cases, except for what's been thankfully the left's been pushing not to have kids. But when you talk about the dynamic, it's typically a man and a woman. Pick your role if you're same sex and all that, and then children. So there has to be one person who is making the decisions in the major life decisions.
Like what major decision? That's what I want to know. Like, what is the major decision you're making as a leader?
Who's shouldering the financial responsibility for the most part? Doesn't mean other people can't make money too. Who's like, for instance, okay, if you two were to get married, Lauren and Destiny, you guys get married. Maybe you are already. I don't know.
Melina is his wife.
Go ahead.
Once again, that's the whole reason that you're talking to him.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, you could be the second wife. I heard you guys have open relationship. I didn't know if you're.
I'm not Muslim. I'm not Muslim. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know.
Bruh. Jeez. Louise.
Since we're paused, if she's speaking biblically, I don't know if this woman is biblical or not, but if she's speaking biblically, yes, what she means, okay, I'm not sure if she is or not, but if she's speaking biblically, yes, the man of the house is the one that answers to the Lord. That doesn't mean that he can't get advice from his woman or his partner, but typically the man, and this is 5,700 years ago when these laws were written, because we're in the year of 5780 something common era in the Hebrew Bible, correct? So if she's speaking this in a religious terms, yes, there's the man of the house and he's the one that answers to the Lord, but that does not mean that the woman or the feminine of the relationship does not have her 2 cents in it. It's just he's the one that makes the final decision. In today's society, we don't really go by those rules anymore unless you're a Hasidic Jew.
But we kind of do. I mean, we have to. But see, this is where now when I start talking about this stuff, this is when I start being called woman hating so and so. But I'll explain why that's not what I'm saying. Okay, so people misunderstand and misrepresent what the concept or the word of submission means, right? And it actually involves a lot of trust and trustworthiness on both sides, right?
Yeah,
but it's just to say this, that women's brains micromanage. We micro everything. That's why we're amazingly good at, for example, multitasking, and men are not as great at that, right? Our brains function on the micro. We are really good at the nitty gritty, itty bitty details of everything. Okay. Men's brains tend to function better on the macro, right? Being able to look, 6 months down the road and have a game plan for 6 months down the road. They're not great at all of the many little details that they'd have to think of to get to that, but they know about where they want to go and what about would be the best thing, right? And so this is why men and women work well together. And I think the thing is that as a result of that, in a relationship between men and women, this is why you say, well, men would have the final say. Well, someone has to have the final say. Unless you guys perfectly agree on everything, right? And you're in a marriage, there's a whole bunch of decisions you guys are making together, right? Where there's going to be compromise, right? The compromise that, hey, I'm not going to get my way, or I super disagree with you, but we're going to go with whatever you decide, right? That happens. Like, people literally do that in every kind of relationship on the planet, especially in marriages, though, right? Because you have to. Who agrees perfectly about everything, right? There's big stuff you guys kind of got to sort out and come to an agreement or arrangement on. But a lot of times what's going to happen is women give their opinions because they're the micromanagers, right? The micro detailers, right? Men are more broad strokes, big picture, whatever. So she's going to give all of her detail to the man. Here's all these things that you haven't thought of. Here's and she's gonna break it down for him, paint him the 7-course meal picture of it, the whole thing. Okay, and he's gonna sit and he's gonna digest that information, right? And based on that, you can then come back and say, here, broad strokes. I think if we do this, we're gonna end up in the ditch, which is not where we want. And if we do this, we're gonna end up in this better thing. So overall, I really still think we got to go with this decision over here. Or they'll say, hey, you know what? Thought about it and I realized my way was going to lead to the ditch. Your way is going to lead to the highway. So, right. But generally, you have one person, right? And sometimes that person is a woman, right? Because, and sometimes it might be in an area where she basically is king of the castle, right? Like maybe it's the cooking, maybe it has something to do with the children. Right. And so he's going to say, listen, I really don't want our kids to da 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 da. And she's going to micromanage, figure it out and go, okay, how can we work this out? Babe, I hear you, but here's where I think our kids need to be. This is the school that I think is right for them. Right. And he's going to trust that. So like we do it all the time. Right. This weird idea that they're like, oh no, actually women have no opinions and women just need to go with it and the men are just the deciders and the women just sit there and go, yes sir, yes boss, yes ma'am.
No, I completely agree with how you're explaining it, and that's why I said you would be you're way better at picking it apart than me. I know the gist of it, but you are very good at picking it apart and explaining it in those terms. But I utterly agree with you. And we basically give the men the notes, they read through the notes, they marinate on it, and then at that point they say, okay, yes or no, this is the direction they're going to go because they think that this is the wiser decision. Unless it's something that I agree. Unless it's something that the woman is like, I really think this is a bad idea.
Right.
When we think about it more.
Shout out to RU and Muse. She says, personally, it was fresh for someone to take the decision. All right. I think you need to find you a red pillar. He got you, girl. Red pillar got you. So you saying you will submit? You submit? All right, I'm playing with you. But yeah, but this is not what Janelle is saying, though. She's pretty much saying that if she come across that type of guy, I'm just going to shut up and bow down to him. But her the way she's carried herself isn't the way she's preaching.
Correct.
It's not. Because it comes down overall at the end. It literally comes down to a conversation and a compromise. That's all it comes down to. If I meet an Inky, for example, and she knows, and she's gonna have some kind of job, right? She's single. She gotta pay the bills, and she have a career or some college degrees on the belt. But I'm the man that works 9 to 5 in warehousing and construction and this, that, third. And then if I have that and I meet her, whatever my experience is coming up moving forward, whatever her experience is coming up moving forward, it got to be a compromise. That's how the unity in that foundation works. What we both have to offer, and how do we move forward from there? What are our standards and our boundaries, and what we agree and disagree on, and what we can do with that and move forward, and how we interact. If we are saying we are together, and Inky goes out in public places, of course that's trust. I can't say, better be back here. If you're leaving at 8 o'clock, you better come back here at 8:05 and 0.0 seconds. That's controlling. That's weird. Why would I do that? She might go out, which again, welcome to the South. Anybody that knows anything about the South, people like to talk and socialize with people, one another. So by the time you get from a corner store, could be 5 minutes, a walk, 1 minute, a drive. You get there, you might see your cousins, your relatives, whatever. You come back, and the ignorant guy, the jealous guy, the ignorant whatever, he might like, man, it took you 45 minutes. You were just around the corner. I met my mom, I met my aunt, I met my cousins. Heck, I met your friends. They asked about you. I met your cousin. They asked about you. They're gonna have a story coming back. Hell, I have so many stories and little adventures when I just walked the two blocks that people made a complaint. Oh, you only want to get 2 blocks, but you ain't using the car. Yeah, because that's what I want to do. But you're always gonna have a story coming back. So it shouldn't be. It got to be a compromise. It got to be some conversations. It just got to, because the crap she's spewing, which is venom. It's just like, women got to be just one way. There's no compromise. There's no conversation. There's no nothing. And that's it, which is weird. Weird.
And what she's teaching is disrespect, because those compromises are not those compromises. Well, yeah, those compromises and discussions and communication is all built on respect. And if the woman has high regard and respect for her significant other, and he has those same values in her, there's that room. But it's when that respect is gone, that's when the battling starts, and then one is trying to override the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And
competition.
They become competition instead of working together, which I agree with Destiny. It is 50-50, and you do work together. You have to work as a team. If you want your man to make those big dollars, you're going to be there to support him and root him on, because if you don't, there's a girl behind you that will. And if he gets that support, and he'll get that support from somewhere else.
Yep.
And he'll be like, she's not necessarily completely submissive, but that's the feminine part where you edify is a beautiful word. Edifying your partner and respecting them, which doesn't have to make you a doormat. And that's what she's trying to say. But yet she's nothing like what she's preaching either. You can tell in her the way she is.
Facts, right? And it's what resonates, right? It resonates within you, because what she's pretending she's about, I'm actually about, which is why I know she's full of it. She's entirely full of it. Nothing she says actually lines up with being a submissive woman or a traditional woman in any sense of the word, not the least of which is she's not married. So, okay.
Amen. Practice.
A lot of people
You're
are.
good. No, it's fine. It's fine. You're good. She's feisty. I don't know.
So you guys get
You're a good
married,
masculine.
and
Yeah.
you guys are deciding where. First of all, basic thing. Where do you want to live? Okay. And you're saying, well, I want to live in, perfect example, Miami. And you're saying West Coast is the best. He's like, Miami's where it's at. All the lefties are here. The libs are here. Come down here. Right. So you guys are just for instance, that then don't even take into account, like, if you have kids, what religion are you going to raise them? How are you going to provide for the family? Who's going to who's going to pay the bills? Who's going to decide how we raise our children, or what we believe? Things like that, just basic things that you have to have a person who, yes, there's it's not a master servant. You guys chime in, but
let me. Hold on, Daddy. See, I got you. But again, still come back down to a conversation and how you know the person. If I come up to we'll use a muse for example. If I come up to a muse and I meet her, and again she's making $80K because I don't know her. I don't know her from a can of paint, and I meet her. She's making $80K. I'm making 40. It may not phase me, because most people it does, but it won't phase me. But we have a conversation on who she is, who I am, and then hey, if she likes who I am or what I'm about, then it moves forward. That's how that goes. Now we're moving forward. Then it becomes okay. If I'm living in her place, or we're living in my place, or we're getting a place together, that's how that goes. Now, hey, is my common sense, my 40K plus her 80K, 120K a year, we're even living better. Now, depending on where we at, maybe, just maybe, the place of the job I was at wasn't my ideal goal. So maybe I said, hey, you know what? I want to do something different or better. So again, that might be a conversation, or the reverse. She might say, hey, you know what? She might want to do a job career. She's not maybe happy there. She put in maybe 10, 20 years, and she maybe want to switch it up a little bit, because the money and the savings that we had planned for a year or two, we saved up so we can afford to say, you know what, one person can take a break from work for like 3 months to 6 months because they want to pursue a career or go to school for 3 months and then get another job. Or I might want to do that for vice versa. It comes back down to a conversation, period. And I'm sorry, most people like compromise or I gotta be leader, but that's part of being a leader too, is throwing out some ideas out there, seeing how it goes. Let's pull it from the hat. This works? No. Does that work? No. Okay. What works for us? Period. This chick is crazy.
Okay, yeah. So so you said you've dated multiple people. I'm sorry, did you say you have children, right?
I have one son. He's 8. Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna lean really hard into this because I hear people with no relationship experience say the answers that you've given, and it's very obvious you have no relationship experience. I don't know how you're giving these answers. So when you're in a relationship, and I'm asking, what are examples of a leadership position? And you say, who's going to provide, who pays the bills, how we raise our children, where do we live, where do we move? These are not decisions that are made by one party ever. And if it is, that relationship is not going to last. There has never been a successful relationship where you live in an area and the man goes to the wife, he's like, we're moving across the country, pack your shit and let's go.
Well,
no relationship. But there's discussions that are done, parties talking to each other to a good arrangement where both people are happy what's going to happen. Like you mentioned, like what religion do we raise our children with? That's not going to be a leadership like decision. That's going to be we either agree or we're probably splitting. Right? If she happened to be like if I've got a wife who's a staunch Catholic and I'm like a Muslim or whatever, and you know, at the end of the day, I'm like, listen, our kids are either going to be Muslim or I'm going to walk. She's going to say, well, fuck it, I'm leaving. I'm not going to bend my whole religion to, right? So I don't know. Yeah.
Though it doesn't happen like that. I see it in my practice where you have people that come in and they're on very different ends of the spectrum, and you're like, how did these two people even match? Because this person, like you said, it would work in theory like that, but oftentimes people let the emotional and the sexual and all that stuff.
It's come down to a conversation. So I don't know what the guys and the women on your quote unquote spectrum, because you have a very flaky, dense bubble. And this is not a brag or anything. I met so many people, whether I'm in a relationship or not relationship or friends and family, they look totally the opposite on the optics, just on the optics, but they work. Why? Because it's a conversation. Inky said it best. Hey, it might be one chick. It might be a hot chick looking like the supermodel. But guess what? She might be like you, ditzy. The guy be like, I don't want that. Then he might find somebody that look like, again, the world might consider that person butt ugly, but that guy be like, you know what? She's doing everything that I ever wanted a woman to do, and I'm staying with this one.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally how it goes in the real world. Shout out to the regular folks.
Them and carry them away, and they end up making bad decisions because their values don't match, and so the relationship isn't going to last.
So you give relationship advice, right?
I don't give advice. I coach people. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Cap. I just showed her whole content. If coaching is advice is a coaching. Like pick a goalpost.
it's not relationship. It's more based on sex.
Cap again. Let's go. Cap again. All up down her content is not all about sex. Remember I gave the example about the barber. If his niche is not about barber and cutting hair, but we sitting there talking about shoes and everything else. Come on.
Okay.
And see the laws of sexual polarity.
Okay. Go ahead.
So do you recommend to these people that you coach to just always allow one of them to make every decision whenever there's a conflict?
In this life, it's the masculine. And yes, the woman follows.
I think the question should have been asked next is like, so how do the coaching / advice, because you don't give advice, the coaching you give those people to find that said person, how would they find that said person? Like, I would love for her to answer that one. So how would they find that with her mouth wide open?
And but with that being said, too much is given, much is required. The responsibility that's on that man's shoulders is heavy. And the job for the woman is to nurture and support him in those decisions, in that huge responsibility of taking care of their family, taking care of his wife, his children, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because if the woman is all of a sudden like making all the, I'm not saying that women don't have a say so, but in the end, a woman
Yeah, you were saying that the whole hour. You were saying that.
wants to submit to a man who is willing to take control and guide them through this life. And this life today is kind of crazy. So I want to trust that the person I'm with can make those decisions. I put my life in his hands, just like he trusts me to rear and nurture our children. That's why stay-at-home dads is hilarious most of the time. I understand it happens.
I
but
think,
don't,
I don't see, like, if this is the advice you're given, like, this is why these men are like, oh, I can't find anybody, because women today aren't children. And unfortunately, I feel like we're training people to be good husbands to women of like the 1200s. Right? Like, I don't think the average woman wants to submit to a man and have him make all the decisions, and she's there to just like push some children out of her vagina and then like ship them off to school. I think people want relationship. What?
which is why we're just failing, because we're using this agenda that like exactly what
It's not an agenda. It's that women have been given the opportunities to explore life a little bit more, and they're opting for more than just being baby makers and home takers.
They can do that while still being able to be submissive, nurturing, feminine to someone who is taking most of the responsibility in that relationship dynamic.
How are they? Wait, what do you mean most of the responsibility? Even that doesn't necessarily make sense.
That when I'm talking about when you're talking about the leadership position and being a good leader, what does a good leader mean? It means someone who leads by example, right? They live a life
She's
that's
contradicting herself.
unfuckable.
Exactly.
Because she just said that women were supposed to be at home taking care of the kids and making the decisions for the kids, but yet if you're working and doing all these other things, how can you really focus on your motherly duties? I'm not saying that women can't work, but what I'm saying is that means that the male needs to also pick up that part of it too, back to the 50-50 part, so she does have time to dedicate towards work if that's what she wants to do. She can't do it all. So she contradicted herself.
And they're always present. Men aren't present today. You can't even get a man's attention for 5 minutes because he's gaming or doing whatever the case may be. He's so.
Ma'am, you got my attention. I'm literally trying to not pay attention. You got my attention.
Moved by a woman who walks by. Oh my God, hey, the grass is greener over there. Like men can't commit to anything anymore, which is why women don't trust them. Ouch. If men were actually steadfast and said, you know what, I am the leader, but your input is greatly coveted. I'll make the decision that's best for all of us, and actually stood unshakable, I think that we'd have more women who are wanting to get into that role.
Jesus, Alex, how are you drinking your cup? How are you drinking?
Since we're paused, do you remember me saying she had a lack of respect for men? Like, she does not. Yeah, she just said it. Like, she's proving it right now.
Consistently.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alex drinking his cup the way he's drinking it.
Ruby didn't freeze, did she?
Ruby, you still there? She probably wants to get some water. Shout out to, what's this, JR? Was it JM? My bad, JM. Why are you still dealing with these American women, Great Bill? I don't know what these American women is, sir, but thank you in the chat. I don't know what that means.
Having kids, it doesn't mean they can't have a career. I'm just saying it's very hard. One of my most viral content videos was this woman who was extremely masculine, kind of reminded me of Melina, very successful, making multiple six figures. And she was on the Sauce show. And she said, oh yeah, I'm making multiple six figures. She's traveling the world, giving her little spiel, whatever the case may be. And she said, I want a man who's going to make more money for me, who's going to pay all my bills. I'm not going to do sexual stuff with him at all. I use more explicit words, which I won't say. And I'm going to have kids, and he's going to raise them. And I was like, you're living in a pipe dream, bro. Like, basically asking, like, you're a man, so you're asking for a woman, essentially.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
Oh, my bad. Are you? I guess that's what JM means. Stop dealing with American women. Get your passport, and I'm good. Okay. My bad. I guess that's what that means. I'd rather stay sucker free and stay in America If somebody come my way here or whatever, I'm good. I appreciate you.
Saying I think we're so far apart in worldview. It's like if I was giving advice to a man and like if I were to tell a man you need to go out to the dating market and you need to find a woman that wants to like submit to you as the leader, like this is just like a recipe for disaster. Like the dating markets across the entire Western world don't work this way today. You're not going to have any success like finding a good relationship or developing a strong partnership with a woman and having, you know, a good relationship or a good marriage. Like,
Why is it that women? Okay, first of all, we know marriage is a coin toss. First of all, and the number
marriage is what? I'm sorry, it was echoing. What did you say?
Marriage is a coin toss. It's a 50-50 chance, or it's like 60. It fluctuates every.
Is that what you think about your marriage?
No, in my path, we don't actually necessarily agree with marriage, but a partnership, yes. So,
so you're not married?
I'm not married. No, I'm not.
Okay. Are you in a partnership?
I am.
Is the partnership the dad of your child?
He is not the dad of my child.
Okay. So you've had partnerships fail. Were you not submissive enough?
No, in regards to my son and his dad, that's the only thing I'm off limits on, just because it's not.
She didn't mention your son. She mentioned your relationship. So if you was in a relationship and in your past relationship, it failed. So you had unsuccessful relationships, right? But at the same time, you're saying that you're so submissive, even down to your child's father. It would be a great. He would never leave you because you're doing everything he's supposed to do. Which this grifter / red pill chick is telling everybody else, hey, if you do it this way, your success would be 99.9%. Matter of fact, she's saying 100%. It'd be awesome. It'd be amazing. You won't want to leave a type of person like me because I'm doing everything. I'm that type of woman, which is not true. You're being somebody that you're not. You are a single mother dating a man half your age. That's a fact. Am I condemning you for it? No. But the reality is you are a single mother over 50. I'm putting a number on it because I think she's over 50. That you're dating a dude half your age. That's a fact. So why are we preaching to other people that's married, that's successful there? And I use Destiny for example, that's happy with his relationship, the dynamic between him and his wife, but yet we're frowning on those type of relationships. Like the offering that she's bringing out doesn't seem like it's a good one because she's not showing an example of it, and she keep mentioning certain things about the religious aspect, like Tantra, Buddhist, and she was like, I don't want to say Christian or Catholic. It's certain things she'll say got me like questioning her religion. Like, what is your religion? Because she keeps saying stuff like, oh, this is not what we practice, this is not what we do. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Are you Catholic? Are you Buddhist? Are you a Christian? That plays a part.
That would play a huge part, considering if she's preaching relationship stuff and she's preaching it in a religious sense and she's not married to the gentleman she's laying in bed with at night.
Yeah.
To him, but in regards to in regards to my son and his father, I just don't talk on that. On anything else, I'm happy to share with. But the tantric path typically does believe in open marriages and relationships, or not even marriages, open relationships and multiple partners. That's not something that I partake in, even though I have experienced it with that, because I wanted to learn the path in its entirety. However, I'm actually more conservative in my views. So I do believe in commitment of one man to one woman. And I looked up the stats on polygamy and polyamory, and it's shocking. The countries that this works in are in the countries where my son is from, Africa, right? He is from Mali.
Stop.
No, it's true. I looked at the
name your vagina Africa. Like, sorry, what?
She means African countries in Africa.
No,
They're all the
my
same.
son is from Mali, and the two countries are Burkina and Mali and Nigeria. Those are the top three countries where polygamy works, or polyamory, if you will, works. And
I'm so looking that up. I am so looking it up.
Is she the breadwinner in the relationship?
I think she is because she says she has
Yeah.
she has a nonprofit. She has a business. She's been platformed on a lot of big platforms that deal with that space. And the last information that she brought up again, since she don't like to speak about nothing. Number one's her child, because there's one content I'm not going to show her child because that's not me. That's not what I do. But it's a platform that she's on that she actually introduces her child on the platform. So for her to say not to introduce them, but she's introducing them, and then she introduces her man. Back to the point you was making earlier, because I'm like, you're pretty much hitting the nail on the head. The controlling part. She makes a statement in her Instagram saying, "Hey, hugging with her man, saying he don't likes to be in the public eye, but yet you put him in the public eye. He's a barber, not knocking barbers, but you live in the area that you live in. You're talking about hippie town, but it might be expensive because every place she's portraying on Instagram and social media is very pricey to be at.
So if she's the breadwinner, she's the one that rules the house. That's why she's acting dominant. And he's there because she's probably giving him money. She's probably forking the bill. And she's being submissive because she is older and he's younger. She doesn't want to lose that.
Fair enough.
But she's still the boss.
To her rules. That's her to her rules. The man leads, but reality is she's leading financially.
Right. What do you think, Ruby?
No, I don't think. I think that and I mentioned it earlier. It wasn't intentional, but I mentioned this type of woman who gets herself like a Pookie or whatever, the kind of guy who's not a leader, who's not an alpha, who's not dominant in any type of way. But he's still providing something to her, right? But it's normally the kind of woman who can't relinquish control because they can't allow themselves to be vulnerable, can't allow themselves to open up, can't allow themselves to trust, right? So they're control freaks. So they need that control. They have to be the head, right? And it doesn't matter what lies they tell themselves to make themselves feel better or look better to other people. That's really the kind of relationship they're running. And I think she's 100% one of those kinds of women who, she's come with this whole grift, right? Selling that grift to everybody about what she really believes. But it's like, dude, you're tantric, right? And I'm glad we got to this part of the video now. So you're tantric, and part of that is being poly, but you're not poly. So like, even just like the basic basis of what you started your channel on, intimacy and yoga and tantra and whatever, you don't even follow that. So you don't stand for anything. So she just throws a bunch of crap at you, right? And I think that she picks men who are easily distracted by her huge boobs, by sexual favors and gratification, stuff like that. So when they get a little bit angry at like, hey, I'm a man, I should be able to whatever, she just blows him and then, shuts him up for another few days. That's what I think. I honestly do. Because that's what she reminds me of, is that kind of woman.
Fair enough.
In most of the country, in most of the world, those are the only places that it works, simply because a lot of those countries do have a strong Muslim religion, faith, if you will. Mm-hmm. Now, in regards to the way that partnerships are run today, first of all, marriage isn't always working out today. In a lot of relationships, people consider it worthy, but they don't necessarily want to get married because men have flooded the YouTube space saying it's a disadvantage for you to get married, and men want to hang on to their coin, so they're not doing it. So it is true.
So you're saying the reason that marriages aren't happening today is because of YouTube?
I'm not saying of YouTube. I'm saying the propaganda of men, because
that you don't advocate for getting married, or?
I'm not saying I don't. I am for marriage. I'm saying in the path that I studied, and is what my lineage is, marriage isn't necessarily something they say is necessary. A committed relationship is.
Pause her trash talking for a minute. So her Venom, she mentioned about the countries. I pulled up one. It says in a poly relationship, here are 5 countries that share your views. There's Brazil is one, South America, Middle East, United Arab, which that makes sense. Number 3, the Pacific, Solomon Islands. Number 4, the Far East, Tibet. 5, Africa and Kenya. And that's the top 5. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there.
Well, yeah, what she said is actually outrightly stupid. Now, if you're talking about a religion that specifically has polygamy built into it and then calling out Muslims, sure. But to pretend that there aren't like hundreds of countries, or at least I could honestly like probably about 100 countries across Europe and Africa that literally have poly, as in polyamory of some form, as a regular practice. Right now, that doesn't necessarily have to be polygamy or polyandry as far as the marriage. But like even if you go to a lot of places in Europe and Africa, they have systems, right, where there will be a wife, but there will also be girlfriends and mistresses and you know, whatever. And those are actually like respected things. Like it's not like here where if you have a mistress, that's a secret and whatever. Mistress is a level. It's like another
So
level of wife. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So my whole point was like, why if you're on Tantra, why are you bringing up poly? Stick to your lane. Stick to your lane.
Well, because she's saying, which is vaguely true, right, is that if you're into this that lifestyle, right, not just as a concept of tantric sex with your man, but as a lifestyle, right, polyamory is part of that, right, because you wouldn't shut down your sexual desire period for anybody or anything, right, that your sexual desires would be a separate thing from your love relationship with a husband or a wife or whatever. But then you would basically be like you would be diminishing your own life by shutting down sexual desire for someone just because they happen not to be your spouse. So you give in to those types of desires regardless of who they're with in order for you to be fully open and, you know, fully engaged as in fully self-actualized. So that's why I said, like, for her to withdraw from that and be like, no, but no, then you don't stand for anything. You don't stand for Tantra. You don't even know what it is. Even though you're saying that you've accessed that level. No, you haven't. You could not have if you went back on it, but still say, oh, but I'm still Tantra. Like, it's bullshit. She doesn't mean anything. She just says stuff. Like, it's really frustrating that I know more about that than she does, and yet it's never been something I practiced. It's ridiculous.
Even when she even said it, I went and did homework on it, and I'm like, I feel like I know more than she do, because the stuff I seen of her, even on her Facebook and her Instagram, she just doing like, I feel like she was doing stuff you see like kids watching karate movies do, and then they'll mimic that when they get outside to play. That's what I see.
Yes, that's literally exactly what it is, right? And that's why it's annoying, because look, Judge Jay just said, like, I don't even equate tantric to poly, because you don't have to, because tantric sex is a type of interaction you could have with just your spouse or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But she's saying she's living the lifestyle. It's like me saying I live the BDSM submissive lifestyle, but I don't do any of it, right? I don't wear the little, you know, collar. Like, you don't have to be wearing like a little collar. It could be like a symbol with a chain with a symbol or whatever. But I don't wear that to symbolize like, hey, he has ownership of me no matter what. And I don't do anything about the lifestyle. But when we have sex, then I like him to be in control. But I live the BDSM lifestyle. Like, no, you don't. That's not like, it's so stupid. It's stupid. Like, she's actually stupid. She's putting on this show pretending she's an idiot, right? But like, she's actually stupid. Like, all the ways she's pretending is not how she's stupid. She's stupid like this. Like this, it's amazing.
All right, well, her and Pearly things must be related. There you go.
Facts. Yeah.
Now, marriage is more of a Western thing that we have really hold on to. As I just mentioned, in Africa, multiple wives, multiple women is more something that's the norm, right? I'm not saying I advocate for people doing what they want to do, but to commit to something. Because if you can't, that's the problem. People say, oh, I want to.
All right, hold on words. Commit to something, because there's some stuff I got to show later, but commit to something. Let's go.
Open relationship, but they can't commit to one person. They can't even commit to themselves to getting up and going to the gym every day. Mm-hmm. And then they wonder why their relationship doesn't work. Remember, women are filing for divorce. And in most states, women are getting the children, paying, and their husbands are forced, now ex-husbands are forced to pay them child support, and then they tell them when they can see their kid. That's why men aren't getting married today, because they're like, the risk is too high. So I'm not saying that I don't see that these problems exist. I'm saying the narrative in which we are working through, where everyone's free to do what they want and be happy and make them, that stuff doesn't work. That stuff's not working, because look at the dynamics of marriage today. It's not working. And polyamory is that whole concept doesn't work either. Even the most successful men in the world can't make it work. Like, we have people like, let's see, a dear friend of mine, Mike Rashid, who was he went on Fresh and Fit with his women.
Everybody's a dear friend that she met like one day. Let's go.
Has his challenges too in regards to it, and he has the means to take care of women. So I think that when we just jump to like, oh, this concept of like, let's just everyone like, all men say they want to have multiple wives, but they can't even afford one woman. They can't even manage one woman, let alone multiple women. It just sounds like a good idea because they get to have sex with multiple women and get away with it, and everyone's cool at the table.
All right, Destiny, do you want to respond to that, or
Well, it's just like there's like so much. I don't know what even to. I mean, like I feel like it's just us kind of like laying out our whole like life philosophies or whatever.
Well, let's try to go point by point. Let's try to keep it a little bit more point by point.
Lori jumped on a whole other tangent with me, so I was like, okay, let's go here.
No, Laura didn't jump a whole other tangent. You've been all over the place the whole day, and Alex is the moderator. So people don't know house rules and moderator. When a moderator speak, you stop talking, and instructions is placed. He is a man. He is a quote unquote alpha male, and you're still being very dominant. You're showing very masculine energy by over talking the moderator and the host of the channel. Shame on you, Red Pill Grifter. Shame on you.
Facts.
Yeah,
Sorry, she said that the reason that men weren't getting married was because of YouTube, and I was just a little taken aback by that.
Okay. Well. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So.
And you're still talking. Jeez.
Janelle, maybe you can lay out another disagreement that you had with Melina, and then Destiny can say how he feels about it.
Okay. I mean, I think one of the other big points I felt was that this whole notion in regards to what she was talking with Myron about, I think they kind of got her and Myron and I were kind of like in this little triangle in regards to it. She wants us to talk about men as is like, I mean, everything was kind of all blanketed in together when we talk about it. Like the polarity stuff, the men and women being the same, her wanting to say like, oh, the violence towards women and stuff like that. When Myron even told her the stat was like, women are more physically violent towards other women than men to women. But it sounded to me like, oh, here's a perfect example. She was talking about her being in an open relationship with you, and you let her go sleep with other men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was quite fascinating, because that is a very very rare form of polygamy that doesn't happen so much. It's when a woman is allowed to be with multiple men or marry multiple men, or one woman is married to two brothers.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. I literally interviewed a polygamist on my channel. Like, go ahead, Ruby. Go ahead.
Literally, it's like, well, this is a rare form of polygamy. Well, polygamy means multiple women, right? Polyandry means multiple men. Polyamory means multiple love. She doesn't even use the correct terms. Period. Like, if you want to say incorrect things, at least use the correct terms while you're saying the incorrect things. You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to teach your idiot followers that women having multiple men is a rare form of polygamy? How are you going to teach these idiot people? Because they're going to believe her, and then they're going to start saying that. And before you know it, everyone is going to think polygamy means men who marry multiple wives or women who marry multiple husbands. It's not true. Polyandry means something, just like polygamy means something. Like, I don't understand. Like, words have meaning. They have meaning.
All right, all aboard.
others. This stuff is like so polar opposite, like doesn't exist, just as small as polygamy doesn't exist, very, very smallly, or very small. Now, when you look at a woman who's willing to take direction from multiple men and open her legs to multiple men and fall in love.
Wait. Those two things were two different things. Well, you just didn't name three different things. Take direction from a man. Just because you're in a relationship with your man doesn't mean you're taking a direction from him. Just because you're opening your legs for a man doesn't mean you're taking a direction from him. And then when you said you were about to say fall in love with men, just because you fuck somebody doesn't necessarily mean you fall in love with them either. So all three of these things are three different things. We can talk about any one you want, but
okay,
well, baby daddies.
No, pause. Because here's the thing. Not only I 100% facts. What Destiny says 100% facts. Because when I watched this the first time, I 100% so objected to this so strongly because she turns around, right? And what was her whole entire beef with Melina to begin with? Is that Melina was not submitting to all the men on the set, right? Melina wouldn't submit to the host and to Myron and Fresh. And she wasn't submitting to all these other men, but she should. According to Janelle, right? This woman, Melina, is married to Destiny, but when she goes somewhere and men are talking, Melina should submit to those men. Literally, I'm almost positive at some point she directly said those words. So for her to then turn around now and say, well, it's good. I mean, come on. Like, Melina, she's going to be taking direction from multiple men. No, bitch, that's you. That's what you're preaching to everybody.
But not practicing. She's not practicing.
Right. This is true. What are you talking about? I hate this woman. She's ridiculous.
Shout out to the red pill.
Well, she could have used contraception. We don't know. I chose to give life to my son.
Well, Lauren, no, come on. Let's don't get involved. Come on.
It's clear you don't have children because you would never talk like that to a woman who has a child.
Yeah,
I guarantee you will last a month on breastfeeding. You would give your baby formula and a pacifier. So let's not even go there because I can cut you down really quickly, sweetheart.
Okay, if I was going to fight back on that, I don't believe that a mom that's actually breastfed would use that insult against another woman because a lot of women have trouble breastfeeding after they've had children.
That's also does having huge tits help with breastfeeding.
Thank you, Lauren, because I've been wanting to say that the whole time. The whole time. Shout out to Moxie. What's going on, Moxie? Shout out to Practice. He says, I like one woman. I can cook, clean, do laundry, and iron. I make money and I live all on my own without supervision. I must be weird. Yes, you are weird, sir. You're supposed to have a woman, if not two, if not three, or harems of women, to be at your beck and call. That's what you're supposed to do, sir.
Being a grown-ass man. Like, when did we stop needing to be adults? I don't understand this wild accusation that somehow or another no one knows how to cook, clean, pay their bills, take care of themselves, clean. Like, we're all supposed to know how to do that as individuals. So when we come together, then we feel the benefit of having a significant other, right? Because there's someone taking some of that load off of you. If you don't even know what it is for you to take care of your own damn self, no wonder people are not understanding the benefit and the value of marriage in any sense, right? Because they don't know. They've always lived in mama's basement. They've never had to do their own laundry. Mama's always done it.
All right, now we're talking about Skippy. Leave Skippy out of this now. Skippy out of this. He ain't do nothing to you.
You're my
poor 50-year-old. Breastfeeding for a day. I breastfed my son till he was almost 7. So come on, you guys.
Why the fuck?
Thank you.
He had teeth. He's in 2nd grade.
Brethren.
Look at Ruby's face.
Brethren. Yo, when I heard that, Brethren, 7. Brethren. Okay, listen, I'm going to tell you something. My sister's kid, okay, just turned 2. Now, to be fair, my sister has been, I'm going to say, kind of falling in the right-wing rabbit hole a little bit, right? Not 100%, but a little bit. So, she falls into a lot of these types of traps of the messages and this and that, whatever. But, she's my sister. So, she's got a little bit of a head on her shoulder still. But this child, I tried to lightly suggest that after the first year, of your child's life, breastfeeding no longer confers an advantage. And so while it might be comforting for your son, you might want to stop, because it can definitely, after that first year, also be a little bit not so great for their
That's
teeth.
a grown baby, Ruby. That's a
No,
monster baby.
but I'm saying, okay,
It's a second grader.
no, I know, that's what I'm saying. Now, my kid's sister's kid just turned 2, and you should see the kid's teeth. Like, they were like rotted out, right?
No
And
wonder
it's
she had to
from
get her boobs done.
Bruh.
Well, no,
Probably
that too,
chewed
right?
them off.
But when you breastfeed a kid past the point where they have teeth, right? Then the milk and the acid in the milk, and they keep falling asleep with this acid in them, it eats away, it rots away their teeth. It rots away their teeth. And she saw that happening to her 2-year-old and did it for another 5 years. Bro.
Did he get to come home for lunch?
I ain't gonna lie. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Well,
Right.
what else is he gonna eat? He had no teeth. Man, they rotted out of his head.
What you
So
talking
all
about, Ruby?
could
Then
do
he
is a
go
liquid
back.
diet, right?
He go back to mama's chest again. So he good. He never left it in the first place, so he don't need the food there.
It's
He
all
good.
Bro. And I understand it's not actually sexual to breastfeed, but let's keep it a buck. If she had some type of sexual fulfillment in her life, there's no way she's breastfeeding a child till they're 7. That is some creep. It would feel creepy to you that your 7-year-old's running around doing stuff, starting to cuss and stuff, and then walking up to you, lifting up your shirt and pulling out the boob, like he's holding it like it's a friggin' like.
Not for Jason Voorhees.
Right, or like,
is
oh,
he
here's my Kool-Aid. Like, yo, that's weird, man. That's some weird.
Is he hanging out with his bros after school playing Xbox and his mom's laying on her side? Like,
that's weird. I just pictured that.
Like a cat.
Man.
I'm just saying that's absurd.
That's weird. All right, back on board the train.
We're getting into
I
breastfeeding. Who cares about that? Let's get back to the initial discussion.
Of these countries where they have polygamy and polyamory, that's where this comes from. You should know about breastfeeding in the indigenous countries and how good it is for the prefrontal cortex and how it emotionally connects your child in a way that you can't ever pay for. So yeah, Lauren, the method skills. You need to definitely take some classes.
No, we're gonna stop lying. So again, the bonding of skin to skin, anyone who has a child knows skin to skin is very important in, again, the first year, right? I'm going to give you the whole year. It's not even the whole year. It's 6 to 8 months for most of these things. Okay. Just like the baby is using your immune system for the first year, right? From your breast milk. Your breast milk has so many benefits, fats and this and that and whatever, that actually they've proven that down the line later, like obesity rates are lower, heart disease rates are lower, so many different rates are lower just from you having breastfed your kid. Okay. And yes, the bonding hormone, oxytocin, and a bunch of other really great things are released when you are breastfeeding. It's a great way to bond, and it does help attachment. So that way babies grow into having healthy attachment as children and adults. That is all 100% true. What is not true at all, even a little bit, is that you breastfeeding your 4-year-old is conferring any of those advantages. There's 0 of those advantages being given to your kid. In fact, if anything, the longer you're going, right, unless you're in some type of, like, not like a drought, but like, you know, when like, let's say you were on hard times, right? So you couldn't really afford much to feed the family much and da-da-da-da-da. Short of a situation like that, where it's like, dude, breast milk or your kids are going to be going without food, what the hell are you doing? There's no benefit past the age of 1. No benefit.
And it could also cause separation anxiety later on in life.
100. So many, again, yeah. With your teeth are going to separate from your head, right? Your child is going to be unable to self-soothe. Your child is going to be unable for them to put themselves to bed. As you said, separation anxiety and other insecure attachment styles. They're not going to know healthy boundaries. They're not going to be able to know that, hey, like, listen, we cut things off at a certain age, and that's okay, though. But mommy still loves you. We're going to bond in a different way, right? These are all things you're supposed to be teaching your kids from a very early age. Because if you don't teach remember we talked about this like just the other week. If you don't teach your kids these things from a very early age, okay, before the age of like grade school, if you don't teach them these things, it's too late. You can't teach them at 12 because they're already learning stuff from their peers, from other authority figures and whatever. The time's gone. They're just going to have an insecure attachment style until they go to therapy and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on it.
Mm-hmm.
So good job, Janelle.
She screwed her kid.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I agree. Okay, okay, go back to where we were before. Okay, Lauren was out of pocket.
My son out of it and lay off the birth control because it's bad for you. We do want to.
Tell it's much better. Go ahead.
It has.
Okay.
Okay, I know.
Where were we at? We were trying to get to one question or one point of the story.
Leave my son out of it's really low blow. But anyways, so we were on Destiny because your girl got me off again. Second girl. So no wonder why he didn't marry you. I see
My
now
girls got other girls off all the time. I know what you mean. Go ahead.
I'm a trans man, actually.
Stop.
Okay, go ahead.
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
can see that. I can see that. You just had surgery. But yeah, so number 2 always is a little bitter. I get it. I know what it's like not to be number 1, so I got you. Destiny, get me back on track, please.
Okay,
Man.
what we're trying to find is you deserve those insults because you're bringing me to her first. Okay, I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
Yeah,
Okay,
so shaky.
when we were trying to center around like a simple disagreement. I think is what we're looking for. Okay.
Oh,
Her
about
camera's
opening the
shaky
legs.
because she has a bomb setup. So you leave her
Right?
alone.
Okay, good. I'm glad you knew I was taking a shot at
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned 3 things: taking direction from a man, fucking a man, and falling in love with a man. And you seem to be saying, or it sounded like you were going to make the argument that all 3 of these things are the same, but I think they're quite different. But go ahead.
So my thing is getting back to Melina because I don't really like talking about her
Also, she can't keep herself still to help herself.
much. But anyways, my question to you, since you're here, and you're actually quite egalitarian, I will say that.
I'm quite what? I'm sorry, you might cut out. I'm quite.
You're quite egalitarian, like meaning you're fair.
thanks.
You're fair. Yeah, yeah. So I'll say
Okay,
that.
try to be.
And that right there is exhibiting masculine qualities that a woman looks for. Now the wishy-washy stuff, not so much. And anyway, you can just keep the comments to yourself on that one, Lauren. But in regards to a man that's willing to let another woman be penetrated by another man, like I'm just so curious, like how does that work for you? Because typically, you know, this is the rarest form of polyandry, if you will. And so I'm so curious, like how does this work for you as a masculine man? I don't know if you call yourself that. How does this work for you?
Well, I mean, typically, I like to fuck around a lot because it's fun. And if I'm going to fuck around a lot, then the woman I'm with probably has to be allowed to fuck around a lot too. She enjoys fucking around a lot as well. So it's fun for her. So that's like the equal agreement we have for our relationship.
And so it's just, so this is again about equality, which I get is the concept that we're.
Well, it's about respect, but.
Okay. So for you, it's like your ability to be able to go out and have multiple sexual partners feels more, do you feel more like you feel less guilty that she's allowed to do that, or you just feel like this has to be fair so that she can
I feel like if a woman would agree a one-sided open relationship, she has a lack of self-respect, and I gravitate towards women that have high levels of self-respect.
But a high level, but in all due respect here, because again, I feel like you're very egalitarian, you're quite fair, despite us having very contradicting point of views. How is it self-respect to share like for a woman to share herself with multiple men and not feel some type of way about that? I mean, because perfect example. Men can have children until they're how old?
Probably till they're in their 80s, 90s. I don't know, forever.
Dead.
Die, essentially till they die. If they wanted to have a child, and literally their sperm retrieval, once they've died, they can actually go in and take the sperm from the corpse, and they have about 48 hours to do it and mix it in the little petri dish with the eggs, and hopefully they can have a child. So
how I was born.
So with a woman, that cannot happen.
Okay.
Like if she's gone, she's gone, and past 60, women are just not, medical miracles. There's always exceptions, right? Women are not having children. There's a reason for that.
Okay.
There's-
I don't. My entire life is not centered around the reproductive capabilities of my partner, though. So these aren't things that I'm usually like factoring in when I'm like setting up my relationship. Is like how long until my wife's like womb becomes decrepit and barren, and that's what I'm going to structure my relationship around. I just don't think
I'm
about
not,
it.
I'm not saying you should, but I'm saying that there's a reason why women's sexual organs are inside of her and men.
Get ready for it, Inky.
Oh no, I'm scared.
Right? A man is the emissive. They're the emissive. They're the emitter. They're the ones who are making, like, literally going into the woman's yoni. I'm trying to be careful what you can say here. And a
You can say whatever
woman.
you want. You're good.
Well, my channel just got taken, so I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. Never mind. Never mind.
We'll
Women-
figure.
women can't- yeah, they don't like this
Sorry for your
conscious.
loss.
What'd you say?
Sorry for your loss.
Oh, very funny. That's cute. That
Well,
doesn't look.
to be fair, she's a big free speech guy. She just spent like 2 hours
I
defending
am.
a Nazi, so she
I-
actually
oh,
probably
really?
didn't.
I'm a Jew who just defended Nick Fuentes. So yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, she's the same thing on my end too. That's she's a big free speech person. Like she just go bananas. Bananas. Whether you agree or disagree, she go bananas.
I'm very pro free speech. I am genuinely sorry for your loss. That's
Oh,
you
thank
shouldn't
you.
be
I'm
censored.
working on. I have an attorney helping me. He actually just called me, so we're going to try to get it back. But who knows? It's crazy to me that I can talk about conscious sexual polarity and having like a respected dynamic of divine masculine, divine feminine energy, and I get taken down. Yet there's like sexual, like I can't even.
I'm
tell
sure
you the
that's
stuff
not why they
out there.
took you
So to
down.
me, I was very offended, but it is
I agree too. I would love to know the reason, but that's not the reason.
what it
Maybe
is.
the flash
in
in the
regards to
panties.
that.
Thank you.
And of course, I lost my train of thought again. So there we have
Yeah,
it.
let's not sidetrack. So you guys were talking about Destiny's relationship, and he was saying that his mating strategy or his relationship strategy isn't centered around women's ability to have a child. I think that's kind of where you guys were.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for reminding me, Alex. So in regards to women being able to receive a man, and a man is able to emit his seed, his sperm, into a woman and impregnate multiple, but women can only have like one child, per like.
Yep.
There's a reason for that, because a woman's job, not her only job. She can be a businesswoman. She can be a business owner.
Get to the point.
But her job is to receive
Right?
the masculine
I'm waiting for her to
energy,
get to
the
a
masculine
point.
seed to create life, et cetera. Now she's not able hold on one second.
Oh yeah, I remember this. Right. So now this is where we learn that she actually lives like in a really
Can you guys
shitty
hear?
apartment. And she can't even afford AC. This is the moment where we learn
Oh,
that.
we can hear.
Because
No.
I mean
Wait.
How fucked up a crashing apartment?
Dude.
Like the truck is going, it's like.
I don't know if you can hear
Just
me,
for the
Janelle, but I
chat and the viewers, this is not nobody's mic or whatever's going on our end. Nothing's going on in Inky's background. Nothing's going on Gray Pill Podcast background. Nothing's going on Ruby's end. This is all on Janelle Gordon's back end on the bomb setup that she has. So clearly she's at a place or a house where she's got some massive stuff going on, and it sounds like it's next door. So I was gonna skip it, but this is actually an educational moment just to show an example of people that's so-called these top professionals out there that claim they know what they know and they really don't. So I'm gonna play this out. Let's show we can hear. This is what I can hear. You can hear the garbage truck going through the side of her house, picking up the local trash.
Bro,
Let us continue.
I don't hear my own garbage truck outside of my house with my window down as loud as I can hear her garbage truck on this video. Real talk. Like,
I actually do probably agree with you on most of these points more than I agree with.
The cock. Thank you.
Yeah, more than I agree with Destiny on certain points. However, the thing that I just was turned off by was the immediate attacking of Mel and calling her masculine, especially because she's a beautiful lady. And like, I just don't understand why you would like, I understand if maybe she's giving off masculine energy or she agrees with points you don't like, but it just seems very like hatred of women-y, which is not very feminine. And that's like your whole thing, right? Feminine.
Well, let's let her talk.
Watch
If
this,
she's
watch
like
this,
muted right now. You
watch
have to
this.
mute yourself, Janelle.
Watch this. She can't.
Yeah, she's waiting for the truck to get by.
Oh,
The truck's
went to
so
the truck, okay.
loud. She can't hear.
Say that one more time. Okay.
No, you're wait. Right now, your mic is still muted.
My mic is muted.
No, her mic is
She
muted.
said, "Say it one more time." Though I could read her lips.
Oh.
Anyway, I said that I agree. You can't read lips, like basic. Okay. Anyway, so I said I agree with most of your points, more so than I agree with Destiny on a lot of these points and like the red pill content stuff. However, when you come in attacking a woman and calling her masculine, that's actually really not feminine energy, especially because it's more feminine to be calling other women beautiful and hyping them up. And you can disagree with Mel's points all you want. I just don't understand like the ad hominem attacks, especially the.
I did say she was beautiful. I said when you looked at her, she was quite stunning. She had a beautiful feminine dress on. She looked the part, but then when she opened her mouth, like even arguing so much where Adam was like, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And I've been on countless shows, like 5 shows. I've never, not countless, but 5 shows in a matter of a year. And I've just never seen a guest behave in that manner, a woman at that, who wouldn't just take the cue from the host to just be quiet. She was so competitive. There's Torsia, like she was so competitive. Like I was like, dude, like let me finish a thought. Let Myron finish a thought, and Adam. And so I think that's where I was never talking shit about her. I think she's a beautiful woman. I said she looked quite feminine, but then when she opened her mouth and ideas, I was just greatly turned off. I was like, whoa, I did not expect that coming from someone who looked that way. So I wasn't trying to put her down in any way, just that it was quite frustrating to me. And I understand how men feel some type of way when women, we exude that combative energy. Men don't want to fight other men. They'll go in the streets and fight other men. Why do they want to fight that in their woman?
Yeah.
Well, I think to be fair too, you have to be careful on the stereotyping there, because I think there are some men that appreciate women that are more opinionated or that can stand up for themselves or have like that type of energy. Like for me personally, like I don't enjoy women that are very quiet or docile or submissive, because in my opinion, that's boring. But so I do think that there are different people that have different preferences for different relationship styles.
No, that's true.
Yeah, I'm pretty much chill. So if I'm watching, I'm just giving an example. If I'm on the couch, she's watching something, I'm next to her, I'm not talking. If I'm laying in bed or watching couch and she just happened to come by me, hey baby, you okay? It's like a short in and out topic or conversation, and we're back to watching TV. That's it. But if you got something on your mind, speak up. Yeah, I'm trying to hit that garbage truck.
I'm saying like I'm not like sitting there like, okay, whatever you say goes. If I feel some type of way and I'm with my partner, I'll tell him like, hey, I totally respect how you're feeling, and I respect you, and ultimately what you say goes, but I don't agree with this. I'm not going to be silent. I actually come across on podcasts 10 times more dominant than I am in real life. If you meet me in real life, I'm extremely docile. I'm super fun, flirty, feminine, always moving. But when I'm on a podcast, I want people to pay attention. So that could have been Melina as well. I was just going to say, I'm reading the thoughts before you think them. Like that could have been her as well. the lack of disrespect when she wouldn't even let the host finish, or when the host was like, stop it, Melina, stop it. He said it like.
She was, first of all, now we're coming to, now that's like, first of all, that's not even true. And secondly, at this point, this when it becomes down to, you know how like the gossiping girls, something happened that actually happened, and then you leave from that moment, then go to another room with the other women and you cackle or gossip about them, like what could have happened in your thought. It's like a weird grapevine type of gossipy. I think this is what at this moment, this is what she's doing. But that was furthest from the truth. It was a conversation, it was a topic or whatever debate, and she tacked first with the smart comment toward her husband, and then it went back and forth. You, Janelle, pandered to Myron and Fresh and Fit, to the Valuetainment, to the show, everybody there. Heck, even if you watched the beginning of the show and it was doing the introduction of women, pretty much it was like maybe 30 women there. A good 25 of those women was consistent guests on Fresh and Fit, and a good number of the women was guests from Valuetainment. Like, let's keep that 100. So it was a one-sided panel the whole way through. The only person, maybe the woman on the far right, because she was like, hey, she don't really have to be there. She knows she's a pretty face. And 2, she don't have nothing to prove. It's maybe like 2 or 3 there. that was trying to get a conversation in, but the fact that it was Destiny's wife, who's a known, well known in media, that person decided to attack that person. Like, it is what it is, which is fine. They're not going to lose sleep over it. But again, you attack first. You sit and try to make it this whole grandioso thing, like, oh, she's doing this, she doing no. She's literally giving the same energy she did. She didn't come out screaming and yelling. She had her legs crossed. She was very poised. She was looking very damn near attractive the whole time as she's giving as it was getting, and it was mostly coming from you. It was mostly coming from you. Heck, even Myra was like, yo, I come back, let me pencil and paper that. I have a response, you have a response. And the second person who actually had a let me attack you type slick comment moment was Valuetainment. Oh, you're Destiny's wife. Nobody didn't really need to know that. Nobody didn't need to know that.
No, it's so true. I think the thing is what she's trying to do again, and everything is about this, right? Is trying to position Melina to be this devil harpy modern woman, right? In comparison to her, right? And so she's trying to set it up, and she knows most people are too lazy to even click on a link and go and watch something. Like, it's really bad these days. So she knows that if she can just paint the right picture, people will just run with whatever she says. And that's what she keeps trying to paint this picture, because the truth is that did Melina keep talking when the host was talking? Yes, because the host decided to cut her off. And she wasn't done making her point, because she had this old Janelle Gordon woman attacking her and shooting slick disses at her. And she felt that she needed to defend the point. Not even like herself, but the point she was trying to make. And when Valuetainment decided he wanted to step in and shut her up, she didn't want to be shut up. She wanted to finish making her point. She wanted to have the respect of, let me finish my sentence before you're gonna whatever, right? Which is all she was really doing, was trying to finish her sentences. And the way that space is, though, especially with Myron on there, is no, when men speak, women shut up, right? And in fact, he said it earlier in the stream. He was trying to make a point that he doesn't normally make, which is why Melina was not used to that kind of behavior, because she was on the show just before that and he didn't do that to her. So just because Myron and Fresh were there, right? So like, it's so obviously bullshit. But the fact that this woman kept talking out of turn, like, it wasn't her turn to talk. Everyone else waited their turn, including Melina. Melina waited for her turn and then made her point. Why is it that every time Melina said something, Janelle started talking? It wasn't her turn to talk. Why does she keep having extra turns and she thinks Melina's the one who's out of order?
That's easy, Ruby, because she's sucking up to the gurus out there. That's why she's trying to get them cool points in. She's trying to, like even Inky said it earlier, she's trying to dominate the field. She's trying to put one down so she get back up on there. Like, get out of here.
Six times. And the funny thing,
Sure.
I have a question. So Just Jay, so for the sake of clarity, Destiny is married to the Lauren lady? No. Okay. Lauren is just a friend. We're not even really sure how much of a friend or why she's in there, but she's not Destiny's wife. Destiny's wife, you might have missed it at the very beginning. So do you remember, were you here when Grey Pill was playing the other stream where it was Janelle Gordon and she was wearing the white dress, that ridiculous white dress sitting there, and then she was talking to a chick in a pale yellow dress? Because the girl in the pale yellow dress, that's Melina, and that's Destiny's wife. So I don't know, hopefully that kind of clarified that, because
it's fine. I'll bring it back just for a hot minute so she can see
who she is. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't mind. So everybody get recapped a little bit. I don't want nobody too lost in the sauce. But yeah, but Destiny's dynamic way his relationship is, he is married. Him and his wife actually has open relationships. And that's pretty much it.
They both like women.
Bruh.
She said it one day. I remember she was like, he likes women. I like women. I remember she said that. So I was like, oh, because it works out for them. That's why they like having threesomes, right? So it's good for them.
All right.
There you go.
So this is Destiny's wife on the right with the yellow. This is, make sure I blow it up. Yeah,
So
the lady
is
in
that the
question
one
is the one
talking?
on the far left. Yes, on the far left, that was the one talking in question today. That is the subject matter. That's the one on the left, and then the one in yellow is Destiny's wife in the yellow on the right. That's Melina.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see if they got a little close up.
They've gotta.
I'm not making
I'm just saying, a
Ole.
lot of times women go with women because they
Ole.
go with women because they sort of hate men secretly. So that's what
You
they
think we
do.
hate men secretly?
Well, you were kind of just throwing them under the bus. These very nice gentlemen.
No, you were saying that men are not as emotional.
Yeah, that is Melina.
Mm-hmm.
She's very feminine.
Very. Always. She's actually quite submissive also. Like if you watch, I've watched things like where her and Destiny have gone and been on other people's like vlogs kind of thing. And like if Destiny, like he doesn't say like shut up, Melina, right? But like if he like tells her like wait or hold on or whatever, she just immediately stops talking,
Yeah,
right? Because
you
she's
can
from a
watch.
culture like
Yeah,
that.
you can watch the interaction when he does his live. Like she might just be back in the ride. It's not like she insert herself in anything of his business. If he's doing his thing, she's doing her own thing. That's it. She's not inserting anything. If she happened to be there, she just happens to be there. That's it. So
Exactly.
I'm so confused with what Janelle is saying. Oh, she has masculine traits and all this. I'm like, where? Because the whole time I saw this, even though I was annoyed with everything that was going around, one thing I didn't hit me was her being masculine.
Right.
If maybe her definition of masculine trait was being disagreeing, then yeah, then you're right. But that's not even true.
Nope. And like I think about like people like, okay, for example, Angela Knight, right? She has an aggression to the way she speaks and she disagrees, right? So if someone wants to call her masculine, right, in the like when she's disagreeing, I understand that because she has the aggression, right? Melina doesn't really come with that aggression. Like she doesn't come with that thing where it makes you feel like there's an actual verbal assault going on, right? So I'm like, it was just a really off insult or whatever, right?
I
Because
think
it didn't
I think
make
Angela
sense.
give that like it's like because I'll give you I'm gonna still be like give that Melina type vibe, but then if you keep trying me, but I think she has a small limit, a window, like you're not gonna keep doing this, and then she'll clap back. That's where I get from Angela Knight. Like it was when she was on Team Fatty when he had on one time, and she was like somebody one guy kept poking a bear, and I guess somebody said, "Oh, where you're this." Okay, and she let it go, and it was like, "Okay, you're this," and kept trying her. Now, okay, well, if I'm this, I'm gonna go ahead and show you that this energy. But she wasn't loud and screaming or whatever. She's like, okay, so she
No.
throwing jabs too. And then it was like, now everybody's like, but you're not supposed, yeah, but you've been calling me this for like a whole long time. So now I'm telling you who you are. So now you don't like it. So now I'm disagreeing. That's pretty much I get from her, which I
Yeah,
think
no,
is
no,
very fair.
she's not ratchet or anything. Like I don't
No,
like it's just the way she comes actually Angela is very like when I say masculine, I'm not even saying in a bad way. She just, some of these
honestly,
more
she dumbed down
dominant
a lot.
aggressive traits.
Yeah, honestly, she dumbed down a lot because a lot of stuff that I seen her on her Twitch, even her early days, like when she had a not a really a disagreement with her and Destiny, because that's how I knew of her. And she pretty much was trying to understand like how his fans and supporters was coming over to her end and was doing stuff that she didn't like and she felt was unfair, and they had that conversation. And but around that time she was dropping F-bombs left and right, so she got way better than that. Now it might skeet out one time, but it's not nothing how it used to be. So she toned down a lot, and she's married for like 4 years, so like come on now.
She's cool though.
She's
I
in
like
it.
I mean I like her. I just think, you can hear like she's an alpha. Okay. So I know people don't believe in alpha women. She's an alpha person. She has that boss alpha mentality. Like when she says something, you have to have a strong personality to want to disagree with her, right? Melina doesn't have any of that. She's much softer overall. Like that's why I'm comparing the
Yeah.
two, because to me, Melina is so soft, right? Like in comparison. And I'm like, that's the person you want to go after and call masculine and this and that. Melina, Come on. Come on.
I definitely get what you're saying now.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is, that's actually my last name. My last name. I was like, how does she have the same? Spelled a little differently, but yeah, that part was just a huge turnoff to me, and that's why I assumed she was with a woman. Now I see you're not a woman, and the name Destiny, and I just assumed that. Again, no disrespect. I thought, wow, she's married to a man. Or I'm sorry, to a woman, because she's so masculine. She's got to be, in that dynamic of sexual polarity. Because I look at things from an energy perspective, anyways. And now that I'm a person, and then there were some sexual nuances that were said in the thing in regards to sexual preferences that were quite alarming to me as well. Which I thought, well, maybe that's just hearsay or joking. But I was like, when she said that, I was like, okay, maybe we are dealing with a very feminine man here, because I know in the realm of BDSM how that works, and that's a very that type of sexual play is something.
She went from tantra to BDSM to poly. Let's go.
Something that a man who has a lot of control wants to be taken. And
Ooh, I got some good mics. I hear a child in the background screaming. Let's go.
Wants to be feminized because it helps to balance his polarity. So that's I just drew my conclusions for that. I didn't know you. I didn't know who you were. She's a lovely woman. I don't have anything against her. However, the way she showed up and portrayed herself was just totally opposite of what I got. And and all the spiritual, it was funny that I say this. When I'm on the show, I really don't talk much about the spiritual stuff. And for her to be so strongly kind of advocating some of this, oh, I need a man who's I was just very kind of confused by her whole dynamic. So I don't know her story. I can't judge her, but I see you do definitely pick women with opinions.
Let's get back to the initial disagreement instead of doing a Melina variety hour.
That was
Melina all day.
Blaming Lauren.
Yeah, because Melina's hot, and
Sure.
I love to talk about her all day.
Okay, fuck you. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, what was our other disagreement that we were on?
You have to bring up Alex.
I'd written down. Okay, so circling back again. I'm sorry. You mentioned something about being with a woman that wants to take direction, open her legs, and fall in love with other men. Is where we were back. Yeah.
Yeah. So you always definitely dreamed of having a woman who other women had and possessed. Was that something that you always wanted, your woman to be shared? Because typically most men don't want that.
For me, I'm not a very jealous person, so I don't care much. And I want to have the ability to mess around with other people. And I don't foresee a relationship functioning if only what?
I said clearly, Lauren's here.
So hold on.
Wait,
this is just a friend.
whoa.
This is just a friend. This is just a friend.
Jesus.
Shots fired.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't know. I thought you guys were in a relationship. I apologize.
No, we're not. She's just hanging out. She's in town for now. Okay.
Oh my God.
Because she was fresh and fit. Okay. So yeah, it's not so much that I've always fantasized about some type of relationship. It's more just I have the ability to mess around because it's fun for me. And I imagine that in any relationship I have where both partners have a healthy amount of self-respect and have good boundaries negotiated or whatever, that it's probably going to be the same for my partner as well. And then I personally don't feel very jealous. My partner is messing around with other people, so it works for me, I guess. Yeah.
And so you think that that's you said you have a child already. Do you plan to have more children? Do you think that that's a viable system for your children to see you, engaging with multiple women and your women to be or I'm just
okay. Yeah. So it's such a simple non-brown, right? So chances are, when I think Melina does want children, if we have children, our lifestyles will probably change. I'd probably work less. We'd probably do different relationship stuff. Yeah, I would probably have.
So you okay. Perfect. That's amazing. So you're saying that you're kind of admitting without saying it that this dynamic is not good for the family dynamic of what creates our society.
Well, no dynamic pre-children will probably be good for post-children. So for instance, if you've heard of dual income, no kids, like a dink lifestyle, where the man and the woman are both heavily pursuing a career, they're living in an area that optimizes for their career growth or trajectory, chances are that lifestyle would not be conducive to having children. Once you have children, your lifestyle is probably going to change, irrespective of if you're monogamous, polyamorous, or whatever, prior to having children.
I mean, it always does, but I think that you're just talking about work versus obviously when you have children, you have to work less, or your work has to be conducive to their scheduling. You have to be able to move things around. And
Ruby, I got your message. We're gonna close out soon. I want to get to, where is it?
I'm gonna be showing my son the ropes on fucking.
That's not it.
Side you don't like it. There are all sorts of different ways that we can. look when women have access to
Working slave horses, workhorses, because women are more emotional. Hello, we spend irrationally. We're in the most credit card debt, and
we
they
spend
want
irrationally. Men spend irrationally. What do you mean? Look, men don't see Kanye West wear a pair of scuba shoes and go and spend $250 on them. What do you mean? Men spend irrationally as well. But again, so
in regards to working those
Oh, he
crazy
sounds like
hours
he's
like
getting
men do.
frustrated.
nothing you're saying, even biologically, women's hormones are probably designed to fluctuate.
Yeah, he's pretty much on our level now. He's on triggered mode.
I am down to do a part 2, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're definitely doing parts.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
More than men's hormones.
Yeah, she's gonna be a case study. All of them is. All
Yeah.
of them is. I'm trying to get to this one part before we close out.
You have a whole cycle of fluctuating white collar work and work.
Yeah, how do you
Uterus.
prevent a prolapse
Yeah, what is
uterus?
it?
All right.
Do you think there's
We'll make the part 2 at 1:10, and then we'll just schedule time between the three of us via email or whatever. We'll do that. But I want to get to a part where I want to get to. Hold on.
Wait, do you think there's a difference?
From 50 guys having sex.
Like every vagina is different.
That's
No.
why there's a lot of people not satisfied because they're paired with.
No.
Like saying this, if this situation.
Super fun and awesome.
Hold on. I think
Your
it's when
legacy,
she
your
got
DNA, and everything live on. Like the
it was
one.
when
And,
she got her internet cut out or something, and she got
You
kicked
will
off.
multiple.
Something like
Are we gonna play? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yep, I guess we're closing out from here.
The internet got decided.
Yeah, they've decided. All right,
Wow.
Ruby.
How did you
any
knew
final
you
thoughts?
must have known I was gonna love this one.
I'm glad you love
Because
this.
it was a lot going on. Like it was a lot. It was a lot. All right, Inky, if you got some thoughts, I'm gonna go ahead and reboot, and then we'll come back and just close out from there.
Okay. My thoughts are okay. So this woman preaches one narrative, but yet lives another. She's very dominant. She feels I think she feels intimidated by Destiny's wife, and that's why she's reacting this type of way. She feels intimidated by her, maybe because she is older, maybe she wishes she could be softer. And so in turn she's literally lashing out for no obvious reason.
Absolutely.
And I agree with Destiny. He's had amazing points on this, and she's trying to be combative with him, like, no, you don't understand, you're not getting the point, when he's like, I do. And you're demeaning to me, and like she's not to me but to her, like he feels like she's being demeaning to him and his lifestyle. And I think she's jealous of that connection and the communication and the connection that them two have, that she may not have, that she doesn't have the ability to have, because she is the dominant one. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I definitely agree with that. I mean, just thinking about the jealousy and extending it further to the fact that Melina has accomplished something she failed at doing, which is to have a poly relationship where she gets to sleep with lots of people, just like her man does, but they still are strong in love, bonded together. If anything, they're engaging in that lifestyle together because they have lots of threesomes and stuff like that and whatever. And meanwhile, Janelle's supposed to be the tantra god and the intimacy god and whatever, and she failed at doing that. So like, even that's something that this woman who's in her 40s, I guess 40s, I'll say 40s to be nice. This woman in her 40s, who should have so much more experience over Melina. She's almost twice her age, right? And yet somehow another Melina's womaning, I think, better than she ever did, ever could. Melina has no children out of wedlock. Melina has really successful men chasing her and, you know, basically fighting for her because she was with one really successful YouTuber, and then another successful YouTuber just came and snatched her up and then built an even better life for her. And, you know, it's just like, I think like in almost every possible way, if you think about it, Melina wins. I mean, even she could be like, my boobs are bigger. Yeah, but Melina's boobs are real. So is the rest of her body, right? So it's just like, you know.
And she still has her youth.
Yes, the youth, the lack of plastic in her face. I have a feeling, though, when she was young, she still was not as beautiful as Melina. And that's probably why she hates her so much, right?
You don't
like,
know the half of it. You don't know the half of it. All right, I appreciate you, ladies. We're gonna do a prompt part 2 of this. It's weird. Like I think like it's always that space. We're gonna schedule a part 2 later, but in the morning I am doing a conversation. I say 11 or 12 o'clock when I wake up on the passport sis, a chick that actually went to Dubai and she got herself detained and arrested because she broke the rules and regulations in Dubai. So yeah, so gotta be fair to the other side. We got the passport doing some shit and pass doing some shenanigans. So we got to have that conversation. It actually made local news. Yeah, because I saw a lot when I actually did the homework, but I saw some other content creators doing like short little skits. I'm like, no, we need to break this down. So I appreciate everybody for coming. I'll have the conversation on my end at 11 p.m. Central Time, 11 p.m. Central Time, or 12 p.m. Central Time, whatever the crap, whenever I wake. So we don't look at coming into the conversation and adding a lot of information that we did. So thank y'all. So appreciate you, Inky. Appreciate you, Ruby.
Thank you very much for having me up. I appreciate you so much. This was so much fun. And I love you, Ruby. Oh, this is great.
I love you too. This is really good. I can't wait for part 2. Can't wait.
Yeah, me too. Thank you. Night night.
Nighty night.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.